from occurring, but I had to try. Why not try at least? Is my thought with it. But let us let us get started. Or I guess I started trying to test something. Oh, let me listen to it myself. One sec. Yeah, the music sounds okay. The music sounds quiet enough. Let me see how this looks on YouTube. I don't know because I made some changes to my displays. Just making sure they look okay. Okay, they look really good actually. Okay, yeah, I could have done this the whole time, but the more time I do this, hopefully, I'll be making like incremental improvements there. But yeah, I'm streaming for 2 days. Usually, I don't take a 3 day break, but given that it is Christmas, I think this one's more understandable than me just not getting on. But here for the puzzles. Can we get to the record of 62 is the question. So the queen can slide here, check, attacking the king. Where does the king go after is the question. I guess the king could go down. This is the move, I think. Yeah, you take... What happens... I want to see real quick for myself, honestly. If the king goes all the way... If you go here... Oh, I guess just made it one, right? Yeah. Hello, this next one. Starting off 6 for 6. I can't say I'm that impressed with myself, but we'll take that. Before we can get to the super high score, we have to get the easier ones. Checkmate here on f2. And then queen's going to check and take the bishop here. All right. Next up, I think you can check and then take there on g2 for checkmate. We see that there's no mate on h1, right? Because there's nothing that can help the rook. But this rook is not defended, so discovered attack and win the rook here on d7. All right, we have the first 10. So you're going to take the knight. The king moves out the defense of d7. Now the rook can slide in and win this bishop here on b7. All right, we see that the queen has slid forward. If you take with the queen, take with the rook, the king can escape. But if you do it the other way, the king can't go to that square. All right, we see that we have a fork on this knight and bishop here. I believe it's queen here to h5 check. Yeah. And they push up, knight check, setting up to discover. You win this. If they take the bishop, you'll take the knight, and now you're up that exchange still. So we see the queen's here in the center on d6. This one's a little more complex, honestly. I think you can take... Oh, no, you take here, attacking the queen, and then you loosen the fence, you win the knight in the center. Okay, so capture here, and they sacrifice it, and you take. All right, so the next one. The rook's going to slide down. Looks like the game is almost over here from the black side. The rooks are in, the queen's in, so you know it has to be some type of forcing idea. And because of that, I'm thinking it has to be check. They can only go here, then the queen slides over. They push, and then checkmate. So let's see if that's correct. Check, check, checkmate. I'll do this next one. This is just mate in one. The knight guards the escape square. You need a diagonal check. The bishop can work together with the knight and give you that diagonal check. This one, another sacrifice idea. The king can't slide over. The knight slides in. They have to take. You need this check here on the h file, and now that's checkmate. They're taking on h4. All right, for the next one, we see the queen's here on c5. The queen and rook. I guess you could go rook h6, and that should set up a checkmate idea. Yeah, if we go rook here, I don't think there's anything they can do to stop this. Yeah, and they take, or they go down, I take, they take. And the idea of the checkmate at the end there, just unstoppable. Say they go rook here, he'll take, and you see this is the end game. What's going on, Daphne? What's going on, Southern? How y'all doing today? How y'all doing today? Type at the exact same time. Appreciate you guys tuning in. All right, we're doing some puzzles today. I'm sitting at 18. But yeah, while we're here, I'll announce this incrementally, but I need to get a link. If you want to play in this viewer tournament with me and Rob Master Chess, I'll put it here in the chat, and then I'll put it here in the notes for my club. If my club is PJ's Chess, and then we'll get straight back to the puzzles, just as putting that out there. I won't stop the stream too much for it. But yeah, I've just posted it. It's there if you want to join in. If you have any questions, ask. Let's go back to the puzzles. We're at 18 right now. Are their knights going to slide here towards the center? What can we do? What can we do? Have anything hanging? Yeah, no worries, no worries. I won't be offended. I'm sure he will not be offended. Take queen, take knight, take bishop. We're just happy if we get participants. But the knight can slide here. A fork on the queen and the king. And someone sent 100 likes on TikTok. Did not see who sent those. But thank you whoever sent those likes there. Much appreciated. Yeah, the rook is here on the G file, and then the knight's going to slide in here, and you're going to win. All right, the king's going to come here. I think the rook slides down with this check idea, and the queen taking on h3, following that up. So that's what we can do there. So rook here to f3, and that's what it is. The queen's going to slide down. It looks like there's something happening on this square with this bishop on the diagonal. What it probably is, you're just taking the rook, and then if the knight slides, you probably take the knight, because if the king takes, then queen to d1 is checkmate. So capture rook. It's still an issue, and I'll show actually after why it's kind of an issue, but you can take this and then go here. But the idea is that you could, if you mess up, so say you take here, I don't know why you would do something else, but say you're trying to get that checkmate idea, they can take this because of this pin, so you know it has to be a lot of checks, right? So let's go to this next one. We're sitting at 22 for 22 to start off. The knight has slid here to d2. We can probably just take this on f2 and get a mate eventually. Yeah, so just capture here, queen takes f2, h captures g3, and there's mate there on h2 at the end. All right, the rook slid over, but you see that the king is not that strong. They have a pawn blocking it, but g6 is hanging. So the queen's going to slide in, take, and then checkmate. All right, the pawn's going to jump forward to a... What can we do? Oh, I see. So you're going to have knight captures here, opening up the attack on the rook. The knight is going to take, and you couldn't have done it the other way, and I'll display that real quick because it wouldn't work quite the same. If you instead take like this, or, oh, they go a5. If you instead take like this, it doesn't work because there's no attack, so they don't have to take back this way. They can take back this way. So if you were to take, you're taking guarding the rook. Whereas when you do it like this, there is this attack of the rook, so they have to take back with the knight. If they take back with the bishop, they lose the rook immediately. So that's a little difference there. Let's go to this next one. The bishop is here on f2. We see that there are a few... We have the bishop pair, but we know that they're up in this game. They have a rook for this light squared bishop. Probably want to take this. They go up, and then like check, down. Like at some point, you're probably winning the king with this bishop to e4 move, but this is probably the first one. Oh, you can't take this. Okay, so then that actually makes it easier. Check. They would have to go up. Check. They'd have to go over. Check up. Huh, that's more complex than I thought it would be. But I think this is probably this is the only check you can play. Yeah, I want to see I think I saw the Christmas. Christmas was good, man. How's Christmas for you? Good Christmas. Got to see my family, so no complaints. And the king's here on g6. It is this, and then here, and then here, and then here. And then you slide. Oh, is this not? Oh, yeah, this isn't checkmate because they can go here. This is mate. All right, this next one. We're sitting at, I think, 24 right now. 26. All right, their bishop is here on h4, although we're about to get 27. You can capture the rook here, and the rook can slide down to d8, and that's going to be checkmate as the king can't move out the way. They push their pawn up. I mean, this is free, yeah. Is it more than? I feel like it would have to be more than that, but you probably take this first. And then you have to go queen back because you can't take this because the knight here is guarding. So you give this check. They cannot block. They have to go back down. Oh, and then rook down. Okay. And then rook's going to slide down at the end. All right, you have the black pieces. Where you have the black... Wait. Oh, you just... Can you just promote to queen? Yeah. So you can just promote to check. So that if you took first, the king slides out the way, and it wouldn't work the same. But the king is here on g5. Queen sliding in check is the only check that makes sense to me. I guess you could go here too. I feel like you would pick this move over that though. Because if you go here, then the king can slide. And then how do you checkmate? So you go here, they can only go over, and then queen g6 is checkmate because the pawn guards this, and the queen is guarding all of these avenues. So queen slides in, and then that's checkmate. Alright, see the queen drop back taking on b3. We're at 30. This is where they get a little more difficult, I'd say. Not overly impossible yet. Like, it's some that feel impossible. These aren't impossible. Like here, I think you just take the knight in the center on d5. If the queen takes, the knight takes. If you take and they take this, you just take this here. And then if you take, they take, you take, they take, you take. So let's see. Queen captures d5. They do it this way. So you're going to take the queen. They have to take their queen back. And now I take the bishop on f6. Probably the best for sure, because your structure is the worst that way. Next up. Okay. It looks like we have something with queen b8 at some point. Like the queen can slide down. You're looking to attack on e5. g4 I don't think is an idea. But the idea though is you have a bishop and a rook that are aiming here on e5. If the queen slides down, you add another piece here to attack 1, 2, 3. I don't know how you win anything though. No, that's wrong. Is it just take first? Oh, you slide. Oh, I didn't even see that. Okay, you slide over. All right, we get 31 incorrect. 31 incorrect there. They push their pawn forward. Yeah, rook takes. You have the bishop cutting that off, and then queen slides in, and then queen in here. I redeem myself immediately. We give ourselves less room for error, though, by getting that one wrong. Here, I believe you can sacrifice the rook. Because, wow. Excuse me. But I think you can sacrifice the rook, because if you move your queen in, I think they can just take on e3. So you know it has to be a check idea. So I'm going to do rook captures b7. And I don't even want to see it finished out. You know it has to be checks, though. That's the only thing. I did not assume they would sacrifice. But probably rook here to a7 at this point. Yeah. And the queen's going to slide in. And now you take this with check. And you're going to win the game. So the rook slides here to c1. Where can we go with the black pieces now? We can... So the knights guard each other, and the queen guards the knight on b5. The rook is controlling... Oh, okay. So it's queen here to g5. The rook controls the second rank, and that sparks an idea of going queen here to g5, attacking that, and attacking on g2 at the same time. So we want to play that. Yeah, and there's nothing they can do. They just lose that game pretty much instantly. We see that the... Okay, so the queen is guarding here on h4. We can't take the pawn there on h4. You see, we're attacking it, but they're guarding it. If we go queen down, they can't go back because of mate in 1, right? So we go down, we would assume they have to go up, right? They can't go here legally. But if they go up, they can only go up here. We can slide over checkmate. So today, King, I'm not doing any games, but I do viewer tournaments every third stream. So that was my last stream, so I have one more in between. But on those days, I do some games. But today we're just doing some puzzles. Yeah, the queen can slide here, attacking, and then there's just mate on the next turn. All right, the queen's going to slide over, checking us here on c8. This is a free queen, I'm pretty sure. Appreciate that, Mr. VIP. But yeah, I think this is a free queen here on a6. Yeah, all right, we're at 36. Their pawn goes forward here to c4. There's not a checkmate because the queen, we have the bishop and queen lined up here on g2, but the queen is guarding there, so it's not a mate there. I see some likes popping up, but no username popped up. So thank you to whoever sent that. I could not see it though. All right, let's see. Is the music too loud? It seems like on the audio track that it's overtaking my voice. Let me know if it is. Let me know if it is. That's the quietest it can get though. It's on 1%. But their pawn has gone here to c4. I do think you can take, because if you take, you're attacking that, and then you can take the bishop at the end. Capture, take queen, and you take the bishop here on c7. I know this next one, the rook slides over here to e1. Where can we go? We can go queen to d2, check. That's my first thought there. The only issue with that is if the king goes to h3, so like here, and then they move their king forward. I don't know how exactly I would go after that. Like, what would you do? Maybe you could go rook over. And if they go here, I think that's it. Oh, they go back this way, so they can't go up. I'll review this because I'm not 100% sure why that works, so I want to see it myself as well. But the king slides back here to g1. You could take... Well, there has to be a checkmate. It wouldn't be a puzzle otherwise. If you slide your rook to h5, it looks like that would work. Because you go here, you're setting up mate on h2. They couldn't go rook up because you take. And then here, there's no check. And nothing else even works. So I feel like that has to be the move. There's no other way to get in. No, that's not it. Oh, what is it? What is that one? We might stop under 40. Oh, you slide back again. Man, Southern, no worries, man. No worries, man. No worries at all. But it's queen back. It's queen back. And then they go over. Oh, just repetition. So you can't win the game. Ah, why can't you do what I did? So here, h4. Okay, I completely forgot that's an option. Yeah, the rooks can't. They can't do anything else. Only h4 works, but I do miss h4. All right, I have 2 incorrect. Will we get to 40 this time? I hope so. I hope so. But they push the pawn forward here. Okay, we don't have a queen. We have 2 rooks, a bishop, and a knight. I think it's just rook over. Because if they push, they're still mate in 2 at the end. Well, dude, well, don't be stressed, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Southern. But don't be stressed, man. You can play for Rav. I don't know if you'd be the first person to sign up, so we could use it. So I'll take the loss there. If you want to play guilt-free, play for his team, man. But they go up here to c3. Rook can go here to b8 check, and then to avoid c2 fork, and then take the bishop. Or then I guess you would take the rook, and then that. Can you sign up for both? I would say probably not sign up for both. Oh, that's not. Oh, no. No, that's not it. Well, we get under 40 on this run. I haven't gotten a 40. I guess I have. You take that first. And then check. King f7. Rook c1. Ah, interesting. Okay. So you start off rough, but we can only go up from here. I imagine I won't get that low. Or I won't get that low again. Alright, 3, 2, 1. Mate in a couple. Queen down. Take. That's a lot of moves for the first one. The knight's going to take rook here in the corner. Alright, we can go knight here and take that bishop at the end. What's going on, Cleoton? Yeah, rook goes down, mate in 1 because of the queen. Mate here with the knight and queen. Queen down, take. The first few are usually, a lot easier. Capture this, you're going to take the rook for checkmate. Take the knight for checkmate because of that bishop there. Knight d3's mate. The queen's going to slide in and mate here on f7. I mean f2. Mate here on f2 again. A free queen. We got the first 12. Alright, now we could go check, up, checkmate. So take, check. They move the king up. You would have bishop to b2 mate on the king. The knight slides here attacking the queen, but knight here to f3 is checkmate. The rook slides forward. Where can we go? So we see we have, this is a cool one. Check. The king was out the way. There's no way to force win the rook. And you see that f5 is really weak. You can't protect that, right? But what you could do is give this check on g3 and then take the queen here on h5. So capture, perfect. Out of the first 15, the rook slides forward. Bishop takes is actually checkmate as the rook can't move. Queen sliding over, I think, is the idea. Because the rook is coming off the king on the g-file. They cannot guard that light square diagonal. Taking here is a little slow because there are checks there on the first rank. But I don't see any other checks, though. I don't see how else you could really do it. But the king is here on h7. Queen to f5, check. No, it's not an option, obviously, because the queen would take. Can you just take the rook? If you take the rook. Wow, I don't know this one. If you capture here, they would have to take back, right? Because they don't want to lose any material. So if the rook takes back, then what? Oh, maybe you could take the queen check. They take back, and then you take the rook here on c8. That's probably what it is. Capture, check, and then you take this here. All right, perfect. Let's go to this next one. Oh, king here. Now let's go to the next one. We see we have this diagonal attack here on h5, and then checkmate on f7. The rook's going to slide back. It looks like you can take this because they'd have to take, and then go here. Oh, and then you can do bishop captures here. That seems kind of complicated. Here, take, and now bishop takes. Yeah, for a second I thought they could check you with the knight, and then... Yes, that was right, Mike. For a second I was confused. So I'm like, what if they go here? But I'm guessing you can just move the king out the way. Yeah. And they can't take still, because here. Yep. So we get that one. We're at the first 20, I believe. We're at the first, at the first 20. So the queen can slide here to h5. You're from Brazil. What time is it for you there? Is it super early or super late? But the queen can go here to h5. If they push up, you'll take. And then you take the rook here in the corner. All right, we're at 21. The queen slides in on b5. So you know there should be a checkmate. They have a lot of pieces around. This is this not checkmate? Yeah, that would have been mate in one, I'm pretty sure. Knight to b6. So you know you have to check a lot. I will say, oh, I get it. So queen check, and then you need the knight to slide in. So probably queen here, and then king up, and then knight here, and then they take, and then rook over. So down, here, opening up the pawn, and then rook here to h8. And then bishop blocks, the queen would slide in, you get checkmate at the end. Alright, the queen's here on g6, knight's going to slide in check, and you sacrifice the rook here on h2, and then the queen's going to go here for this mate idea. Their queen is here, their pawn's here. If you move up check, they have to go back to that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just check. And you just bring your rook down, that's checkmate, because the rooks are stacked together. Alright, right now there's no... Is there any way to win? I think if you take with the knight first, it doesn't work. Yeah, you gotta take with the but if you take with the bishop first, I don't know how you save it either. So bishop takes here on c3. Bishop takes, knight takes, queen up. With the knight, oh, the knight can just go back. Yeah. And you take here. The other way just doesn't work. I'll show that real quick. Man, I didn't articulate it, get it well enough. But the reason you can't do knight take, I think they can just go queen up. Yeah, queen d2 or queen d3. And this is, I was seeing this. I didn't see queen d3 though. This works too. Knight a. Yeah, because the knight's just trapped. But this way you have an escape score where you take that extra piece. Alright, let's go to this next one. And then again, is the music... Is it too loud? Because it looks like it's pretty loud on my side of things. Maybe I can up my mic? Or maybe that's too loud too. Let's see. Like, it's just not competing with it. Alright, let's go to this next one. Here. So the king is here on f6. The rook can slide over. And this is just checkmate in one. Is the knight's guarded by the king here. And they can't move anywhere. So that's mate in one there on f7. The queen is going to take, because if they move the king over, you got checkmate. And now the rook here to e8. The rook can't move at all. Capturing this, they can take. But you could go rook takes, king over, rook down, king take, queen takes on f6. So capture, check, and then queen takes here on b6. Alright, perfect. The pawn's going to go here to f3. The knight is under attack. You can't slide the queen in here to d2. Attacking the king. That's not really possible there, right? It's not a real way to do that. The rook sliding in, the queen takes. There's a fork idea, but the bishop just captures, so that doesn't actually work. So what would work here? That's the question. What would do something? Like, I want to say knight c5, but my problem with knight c5 is they could go queen e3. Like, if you go here, and then, really, yeah, there. Take. There's no way you can win anything. So maybe it is this, and I just don't see why it works. So knight slides in. Let's say bishop captures. Queen captures bishop, check. They go here. I am not getting how that would work. I may have to get this one wrong, which I should not, given that it's the 29th puzzle, and I'll need to get all of these correct to have a chance. I don't see anything else. That is correct. Okay, the knight's going to slide in. See, the queen slides over. So queen's going to capture queen, and then take rook. I want to see exactly why they couldn't do that. Like, I had something in my head. I don't know if that was right, though. My issue was, I thought if they take, and then here, and then here, you can just take here. Is this not... This is the idea. Or is one of them. King f2, and then this check, and then down, and then bring the rook in. Alright, let's go to this next one. We're at the first 29. The rook's here on b5. You can capture the rook and then bring this rook down and then take the knight there at the end. Alright, you need to create a passer. You can take this attacking, and this one's actually not that hard. If you take king takes, push king slides in. So I think you need both pawns here. You need to go f6. Yeah, because if you push, it doesn't work either. And now you can't go this way because the knight guards the escape. So you go here, and now you get the queen here at the end. Alright, at 31. The king is here on f7. There should be a checkmate idea. The rook slides down. So I'm not doing any games today. Today just some puzzles. But I do have a viewer tournament stream every third stream. But this one's just puzzle. The next one I'll be grinding rating. But after that it will be viewer tournaments that are happening. Alright, that just seems too loud, honestly. Okay. Yeah, the king is here. We go rook here to e7, attacking the king. If they slide here, we'll get checkmate at the end. My thoughts on Brazil? I can't say I know enough to give any super concrete thoughts, honestly. We go rook here, and then we can go here, check. No, that doesn't work. Because if you go here, the king slides over. You just take the knight, winning material. Because if you slide here, I don't see anything else you could do with rook g7. Like, king goes there. Yeah, I think you have to take this. And then knight in. Fork, and you win the rook. And you're going to win the knight, hopefully, at the end. Alright, the rook is here on b4. The knight could slide in with this check. The king comes over. Pawn forward. Take here. Back. Checkmate. I think that's what it is. So let's see. Knight slides in. And then here. Check. Knight takes. Yeah, that's it. Check. And you take here. And then the other way also would have been mate had they taken with the knight. Do I know the lawyer? Are you talking about Tom? I think you're talking about Tom. Well, you give this check. If the knight takes here, the queen would then capture. No. Well, this is check. Oh, mate in 1. Ah. I was seeing this. Well, this is still mate in 2. But it was not the most efficient checkmate. All right, let's go to this next one. The knight took here on f2. Queen slides down here to c8. Appreciate that, Zerdan. Yeah, queen slides down here to c8 check. If they go up... Then you go back? I don't think that... Well, it has to be a check, though. Because we have this weak... This is weak on d2. Like, just taking this, I don't know if that works. Maybe it is... Well... I'll take that back because we would be up a rook. So is it just maintaining the material that we're up right now? Because we are up material. If you take that, you're up a clean rook, essentially. That feels like that's not it, though. Because I guess if you go queen down, queen c8 check. If they move the king forward, I don't know how you do anything after that. No, what is it? I get that one wrong, but I don't know what you could do. That is the move. Like, why can't they go up is what I'm missing. Because of castle. Okay. I don't think I would have found that. Because you can castle. I didn't know you could castle. I would not have assumed that. But yeah, the rook is here on f7. Okay. You can take the bishop for free. It's after that I'm confused on. But that's probably the first move. Maybe it's take bishop and then you bring your knight in and it's checkmate. Alright, the queen's going to slide over. You can bring... Oh, this one is a mate. Rook slides down. And then you can take this checkmate. Yeah, because the queen's blocking the escape square. There's another queen sacrifice. So the queen's going to slide here, check. The king has to take. Bishop discovered check over, and then rook takes on e8. So boom, boom. Mate, because the bishop and rook work together for a beautiful mate pattern. For this next one, we can go rook to h8. That's my first thought. And when the king slides over, could you go queen c3 check? Maybe not, because if you go queen c3 and they go f6, then you can't take on g6. Maybe it's queen h4. I don't think there's a checkmate. I think it's just queen h4, forcing the king to slide over, discover check, and then you win the queen. I don't think you can actually get a mate here, so let's go for this. Here, here. Alright, next. There should be a mate net idea. Or is it just here? Oh, okay, okay, I get it. Because if you go here now, the king can slide over. And then if you go here, I think they could go up. So it's here check first. They have to go back, and then king g7 trapping the rook. And then, yeah, the rook can't move out the way, and you should win that endgame. All right, in this game, we see they took something on f7. So is the move... Or I guess you're in check, so you have to take the rook then, right? Yeah, because you can't just block. You would have to... Yes. Well, that's the first move. Now, the second move is where you have to calculate. Rook g8 seems like an obvious choice. There is no other check that makes that much sense to me. Because if you any of the g-file checks with the queen, like going here or going here, there's not a way to get a secondary check. So I'm going to just kind of guess here. That has to be, yeah, just a check here. Because now the queen could do something. What it is, I'm not entirely sure yet. But it can do something. Like previously, it couldn't have done anything. Alright, if we go queen g6 now, that doesn't feel that... Well, not even that feel. That couldn't work if you go here. Because then they can move their queen down. So there has to be some type of way to get to the back rank without allowing too many counter checks. Could you go rook up maybe? Maybe it's just simple. Rook up going for the queen. Yes, because they can't stop it. And then rook h5, then you take the queen. I don't think they can stop it because it's just not... You can't do anything. Like if they move their... Once I go here, if they go queen back, I think this is just going to be mate. Yeah. So the queen can't move, right? It could only go here. And then again, it's the same thing with that just being checkmate on the next. Well, once they go there, like here, if they move out the way here, here, and this is checkmate. So that's why rook to g5 works. And then nothing else even looks remotely playable on this. Because if you go queen here, they just move here. And there's just not a checkmate, right? Because the rook's guarding and the queen's guarding. So it had to be an immediate threat, and that's why that worked there. So the king is here on f1 for this one. Where can we go? The queen could slide to d3 check. It could. I don't think that's it, though. Queen d3, attacking the king there. Winning the knight. I think the rook needs to get involved. There's almost a mate idea on the... I think I just saw something on Twitch there. I missed... Oh, man. Oh, I said the word. But yeah, I don't know. I missed what it was, though. But thank you for whoever did that. I think it said lurk. But yeah, the king slid over. We can go queen here. Do you just win the knight? That could be it. But then you're not... Like, you're down right now. Like, right now we're down. That's the only thing. H1 looks good. Yeah. Because you win the rook. You do win the rook with queen to h1. I'm trying... Oh, it is, but it's not because you win the rook. There's a forced mate. So it's here. Like, when the king's in the center, I don't think they can stop the checkmate. And then the rook slides in. And then queen back. Alright, so the king slides over. Rook to d8. Queen e4. Yes, Magnus Carlsen Nightmare. You did call that. You did call that one. But yeah, the king slides over. Knight can go, and good eye from Joshua as well. Knight can go to b4, check. That's almost checkmate, actually. So you slide in, attacking the king. The king can't go here, or here, or here, or here, or here, or here. So it has to go to one of these two squares. And that's making me feel good. That's why I think it is the move before we even do too many calculations. A move that's that controlling feels like it would have to be it. And they go back, yeah, I just want to play that. I don't even have to see the full calculation. If the king's that trapped, it definitely works. Now the question is, winning this, it's not enough because you're down a rook. So I feel like you need to get this secondary check. Rook here to c2. And then if they slide here, you go over. If they go over, oh, I've actually had a mate pattern like this before. I've learned when the two knights are together, you just need another, like one last check because they guard so many of the escape squares. And this is reminding me of something now. So I think it is rook c2, yeah. And now we can go knight in. My only concern is if they go over, yeah, then you can still go there, okay. And then it's checkmate on g2 at the end. So check here, and then rook x g2. All right, go to the next one. The pawn's going to jump forward. You see there's this lolly checkmate idea. So how do you get it to actually happen? Queen goes up, they take. So that's definitely not it. If you go here, I don't get why they couldn't just go up, and then if down, they go rook up, and then if down, they go rook down. There's no capturing that, because that's free. There's no just pushing, take, over. There's nothing there. So I do think this is it. I just don't see the rest, honestly. You could try this, maybe. Maybe, because you're attacking the queen. Let's say if queen goes here, check up. Nah, you just can't get them into a checkmate idea, though. That's the problem with that one. This is definitely a more complex one. For 40 at least, I would think this is like a 50 one, but maybe that's just because I just don't see it. But like queen to d4 does turn in mate in 1. They would have to go f6. So because they have to go f6, that makes it worth considering. Like if you go here, the only move they can play is here, right? Anything else, they'd lose the game to that checkmate. So let's go with that as an idea. Queen d4, f6. After that, having the queen slide in, it does start in that mate here on g7, but the rook could just slide up. Oh, and then you could go here. They'd have to go rook down, and oh yeah, this is it. Yeah, because if the rook goes down, you would have taken on g6, they go over it, then checkmate. So now you don't get mate, but you win the rook here. I'll show that real quick. It took a second to find it, but eventually I was able to see it. So here the idea is that when they go back, you would just take here. Like in my head, I was stuck on this spot for like, why does this work? Because they go back, then you just take on g6, right? And they go here, that's checkmate in 1. Knight d5, I think I consider knight d5. I think the problem is, let me see if I can see it before the engine. If you go here, what is the problem? Because I don't think there's a checkmate is the issue. Because you would still need to get, maybe that's it. It's saying king h7. Even if they get the check in though, is that? Oh no, this is still, if you get the check, it is winning. But they can go king here to h7 to get out the way of it. Is the only thing. All right. Oh, h7. H7. I think the problem is there's no, after they take, there's no follow-up, and you don't have enough pieces to corral the king there. All right, go to this next one. Let's see if we can get to 43 here. The queen has slid forward. We see that we have this queen to h7 check idea. The queen slides over. Attack. You control the e file, you control the g file. But then this is free. So that makes me a little concerned. So is it here then? Queen to h5? Where there's no longer a free rook. They still can't go to this e file that we control. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. And you take here. Because you have to take with the rook. If you take with the pawn, this is checkmate. So you have to take with check, and that's that one. So the bishop slides here to g4, attacking the queen. The queen can go to e1, attacking the king here. But that is that it? So you go down. If they move up, you can't bring the rook down because the bishop guards the square. If you could do that, it makes it a lot easier. Obviously, that's not the puzzle, because it would be pretty simple. It'd be like made in 2 that way. So queen slides in, they slide up. There has to be something else. Maybe it's that. My issue with going queen here is they can block with the bishop and then rook down here. There's no queen inroad. So I think the first move would have to be here. It's just I don't see the second. Like, is it taking the rook? Maybe. Because there's check and then over. And then if you get all the way here, you're pretty safe. Yeah, that's probably it. Oh, yes, I think it is. Because if you go here, it's an initiative. You can't win the rook. Sometimes the puzzle, like, it kind of helps you by making it only, because there's only one move that works. And it's kind of telling you it can't be here because this is an initiative. So if I'm right, it's check here, and you just take. Well, maybe you can't just take, though. Well, here, and then queen down, down, capture, capture, up, back, up, over. And you'd probably be okay after that, but I think this is the move. Yeah. So the king's going to slide out the way. Oh, because the bishop can't move if the rook's... But I guess what I'm saying, the rook would move over. from the g7 square. Because I'm saying take, queen takes. Oh, then you can go queen down. I'm like, if the rook slides, it seems like you're winning, but it doesn't feel like it's that good. But it's because the queen can slide down to e7 instead. And that would be winning, and that's easier to see. Even after that knight check, you just go here. But then they can go knight back. It makes you wonder, but I think you would have to take the rook, because if I'm saying it's bad without taking the rook, like, it has to be worse with leaving the rook on the board. So because of that, I'm going to take here on g7. That's not the best logic, though. Maybe I should calculate some more. If you take queen down, I don't see how queen here would work. Because if they go here... Oh, you can go king c7. Yeah, okay. King c7. Like, I'm like, whatever you block with, there's some issue. But I think you can... You probably can't go here immediately. You have to go here. And then, when they give this check, go king c7. Let's see if that's right. Queen slides down here. Okay, I don't even have to go that far. Maybe because there are two moves to stop that. Or survive that. But if they go knight here, I think... Yeah, this is the best move, king c7. I was missing that for a while. I'm like, if they go here, you go back. This is just like a repetition. That wasn't in my mind. But I'm still missing king c7 the whole time. Let's go to this next one. We're sitting at 44, I think. Yeah, we're at 44. And their queen is here on d5. I think I see this one. Yeah. So you can go bishop here. No. I see how you can win material. I'm not sure how you could checkmate, though. But I guess that's the same thing. If you go bishop here, check, and the king drops back here to b8, and then queen down. I was worried about knight here. Once you take, like, it's still like checkmate. So they have to do something else. And there's like that discover to win the rook. I feel like that'd be it. Because just going knight in, they could go queen here, check. And then you go out the way and then move the rook. And there's nothing else after that. So I'm going to try bishop here, check. I mean, this has to be the second move, if that's the first move. So we can just play this, yeah. And now this is where... I guess if this is the second move, this has to be the third move. The fourth move is where I'm a little confused. But this would, I assume, be it. Oh, they don't even make you solve it. If they make it more complex, maybe because there's double check checkmate that I'm seeing now. So yeah, the issue is they have to just do this. Like, you can't play anything else. If you go here, I think you could still go knight d7, yeah. Because they take, then the queen's undefended. And then the queen, it can't move back because it's in this pin right now with the king there. So let's go to this next one. We're at 46 or 45? 45. The rooks want to slide. Oh, this is a cool one. So it's queen here. But it's not because if they take, you take. It's because you go queen here. The king can't legally move. The rook has to take, so you take points to a queen checkmate. So down. Queen, that's mate. That's both easy and hard at the same. I see why they made that a puzzle, I'll say. Like, it's not that hard, but it's more... I feel like it can be like in the 30s, though. But they're not the 47th puzzle. But the king is there on e8. The knight and rook. So the rook controls the e-file. So if the knight moves, you have this discovered attack on the king. You could go knight here and win the rook. But that seems a bit... small-minded there. Like, I think there's probably a checkmate. I don't see it, though. That's why I'm like, you could just go there. Because right now, they have two pieces that could... Oh, it is here. Yeah. Because this gives a third defender, a third attacker on this. And they'd have one take, knight takes there. They don't have enough pieces. So I think it is just here. Sometimes it's not the obvious move. I think this is the obvious move. I think this is the correct move too. Because if the bishop blocks, you could then go queen down, checkmate. It sets up two mate ideas. So I think it has to be here. Yeah. And now the bishop goes here. With rook in, if the king slides, I think you could sack the rook. And then king takes it and queen down. So capture, yeah. This is actually what happens too. This is the more fun variation anyways. Rook sacrifices, and then the queen here to d8 checkmate. I'll go to this next one. Let's see if we can continue and get to 48. Joel did call that one as well. King, G, knight. Are you saying K for knight or for king? I'm assuming knight there. Let's see what you're saying. Knight, F7. I think the problem with F7 is that they could then... Could they just block then? I think they could just block. Yeah, they could block now. Because the reason this works so well is because when you go knight here, it's threatening the mate on like both of these squares. When you only do it on one, they can just guard that square. So, and this square is not guarded anymore. I think that's why it has to be c6. All right, let's go to this next one. The king is here on d8. And I appreciate the likes there on TikTok. I don't know what's going on. I cannot see who's sending them, but thank you for those likes. But yeah, the king is here on d8. Rook down. Well, oh, how does this happen? They have a pawn here. So it has to be checks, because this is just queen checkmate. So every move has to be a check. My problem with that is that I see that the knight could slide in maybe at some point, but then the queen takes. If you take, that's checkmate on a1. I don't know. Alpha. Who's Alpha Woman? I'm not sure who that is. I'm guessing another streamer. Oh wait, is she the women's candidate master that has no face cam? I think, is that Alpha Woman? There you go, rook down. I don't remember the username. I remember the person though. Yes, okay. I think she would cook me though, wouldn't she? Isn't she like 2400? But yeah, we go rook here to f8, or am I thinking of a different person? And then Josh, I appreciate these likes. Take the bishop. I think it has to be f8. I think if you take the bishop, the problem is you would avoid mate, but I think the puzzle is to win the game though. Like, you're right, if you take this and they check, you get out the way, but then they're up a queen too. I don't know. I think it's here and then up. I just don't get, how do you, I'm very confused. How would you do that? I think it has to be rook f8 is the first move. Now this is where, who knows? So knight, oh wait. You could go here actually, because if queen takes, you could go down. Oh yeah, that's literally checkmate. This is just checkmate. Alright, go to this next one. The pawn's going to go forward here to a6. I'll show that real quick. And then rook f8, king d7, knight c5, queen x5. Yes, Joel is on fire there. But yeah, the idea with this is that capture. I guess that's just the idea. I don't think there's anything else they can even do. Yeah, the king can't move. What I was missing this whole time is this. I was like, if you go here, how is this checkmate? And I'm right. This is not checkmate, but I missed queen e8 for quite some time. I'll go to this next one. Here, we're sitting at 48 out of 49. I don't know, this one seems kind of simple. Maybe I'm undercomplicating it. But if you take the knight, check, they go here. Like, you win the piece back, don't you? Here, and then you just win the rook. Like, wherever they go, and then like here. So do you just win the knight back? It can't be that easy. This is the 50th puzzle they're giving. I can't be saying that correctly. Because, I mean, you're down, so yeah, it's still even, but you would rather not, you'd rather be even than be down a knight. I think that's all you have to do. Yeah, wow. Capture. Maybe this is the part that's harder than I'm saying, because I would guess you just take the rook, but maybe there's something else. I don't see anything else, though. Your king's safe, the bishop's not hanging. This is the only thing that's hanging, but your queen's under attack, so the queen has to move, right? The queen has to move. Really? Okay, that's kind of simple, but the queen's here on a2 for this next one. Where can we go? The knight can go to f5. Attacking the bishop. That, I would play knight f5 in a bullet game. I don't know if that's right, though, but knight f5 looks amazing, because you're attacking the bishop, you're attacking the knight, kinda. Well, I guess you're attacking the g7 pawn, because if the bishop's gone, then you could just take the knight, take and then take that. I'm almost certain. If you go here and then go here, then you could take. It feels like that would have to be the move. Nothing else is really an option, right? Because you can't move the rook anywhere towards the action. It can't go here, right? Can't go here. Can't go here. This rook taking this, I guess that's kind of an option. But the difference is once they go here, you can't just take the bishop. Like with the knight here, you could just take the bishop. And then it is check as well. So if you go here and they attack your queen, like this is check. I just want to go for it. Yes, it is knight f5. And this is what happens too. So you take this and then you take this. That's exactly what I was saying. But the reason they have to do it is that they can't just go bishop back. Right, this is losing. Because this is free and then that's an... you could really do a couple things. You don't even have to take the rook. Like this is winning, but the other two moves are still +5 basically. This is just a hard position to play. I think knight f5 has to be the move, or that's why it's the move. It is really good. So I have to drop a piece there. You say you played knight h5 in the bullet game. Knight h5 here. I don't even think that's that bad either. If you go here, I think it's probably a draw, isn't it? They move. This is losing. Oh, now they can attack the queen. Okay, I was like, why is this losing? And then queen here. Okay, it's not that bad. It's still zeros across. And they go up here to a6. When I started playing when I was 5. But I guess I learned how to play when I was 5. And then I started playing tournaments when I was like 6 or 7, I think. I think probably 6. But I took quite some time. Definitely different levels of intensity of playing. Like these last 3 years, to compare these 3 years like the first 3 years and call them each years I played chess, feels like it's a disservice to the amount of time that was put in, I'd say. But they go up here to a6. If we go queen, okay, so the knight is guarding the bishop here. The queen could slide here as well. They have too many defenders though. That's the problem. What if the knight slides in? I don't think that... Oh, that could be it actually. Oh no, I think that is it. Because you go knight here. If they do this, it's whatever. Like you just take it. And then if they castle, you would take that. Oh, okay. If you do this and then go here, you'd have to go king b8. Because here, if king takes, they could castle. And then if you take that, then they could go bishop here, check first here, and then take back. But I think if you do it this way, here, here, and then here, once they castle, you could then do that. They don't have an escape move for the bishop on a6. I guess they could still go bishop a6. Oh, but then you would take that then. Okay. I think it's knight d4. It is knight d4. And now this is what I was saying. I don't think you can take the pawn here. I think you have to go king to b8. Yes, that is correct. And then capture, and then you take here with the knight. Because you took with the rook. I want to show that because that was a fun one to find, I gotta be honest. King b8. I feel like in a bullet game, I would definitely not do that. But because I have some time to think here, I was able to find that. What is that? So I'll break it down real quick. Not Mbappe, but I'm doing all right today. How are you doing? Let's see this one. Like we say, in 10 years of experience might be 1 year experience 10 times. I get it. Yes. Yeah, definitely. That's a good quote. That's a good quote because the difference is jarring. Like at start tournaments when you were 6 or 7, oh yeah. I guess yeah. So you take here, they castle. Now this doesn't work because of bishop a6. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Is this check? When you go king here, how I've been streaming today? I've been streaming 53 minutes and 52 seconds today. So been on about an hour. We'll have to get off earlier today. Family birthday today, but I will. That's why I got on earlier, so I can still stream a decent amount. But they go up here to a6. The first idea is like d4, but that doesn't work. But that was the first idea. It's a bad first idea, but it was the first idea. d4, no. And then like knight captures on e5. Two very bad first thoughts. I don't think either of those would actually work. Knight a4 is the third thought, but then they could go b5. b4, I don't even know what you could do here. I have no... Like, what is the goal? No pieces have been taken here. Kind of wild. Yeah, my aunt's birthday is December 26th. and my dad's the 22nd, so it's a few around that. My first idea was bishop f7. I didn't even say that one out loud, but I keep, when I do puzzles, I'm looking at all sacrifices, and they all don't work here. Well, one of them has to work, because it has to be a sacrifice, but none of them initially in my head I can actually make sense. But yeah, I'm with you, like here, 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 here. Like they're all, they all look like they suck. But it has to be a move. That I know, that we all know. It has to be a chess move. If the knight slides in, no. I don't think I'd get this. I don't think I'm gonna get this one, if I'm being honest. If you take, queen takes f4, then they just go back. I think you have to sacrifice. This is the only one that kind of makes sense to me. Like, the queen can't move. The bishop can't go here. I want to go bishop here because you're attacking it. My only problem with that is that they don't have to. They could just go back. Like, yeah, if they take, that seems good. But, like, bishop e3, and they could go anywhere. And then it's no longer a threat. I know when I see this one, I'll be like, oh, how did I not see that? But I'm just going to sack. Yeah, what is it? It's instead, it is d4? How? So d4. What? Oh, okay. Okay. Because if they go bishop back, I think taking in the center is really bad. Okay. And then because of that, they have to take, and now you save. Wait, what? And you go back, and then you take this, and you're just up. You're not even up. All right, man. I'm not going mad at that. You're not even up material. I'm looking. It's a positional advantage. All right, their knight is here on a6. d4. Why the opponent? d4 was the move. Good call, Magnus. And why the opponent in the puzzle would even play pawn a6. I don't know. I usually play a5. I don't know if that's always better, though. But they always don't. It's not always like that. Like, usually. What I'm trying to say? Oh, yeah, it's not always like that where a5 is a good move. Because I've played it before, and the computer's like, this is an inaccuracy. Sometimes it is a6. Record in these puzzles, I've got 62. Not on this account, but it was on stream. Like, I have 2 accounts, and I just go. Well, I don't know why I go back and forth, but this account is like 57. But 62 is my personal best. And I've got 61, but I cannot get past that. Getting to 60 is, as you can see, very difficult for me. I can get to 40 decently, easily, and 50, not every time, but I'd say like 60-70% of it. But 60, I think twice. But they're up here on a6. We can go. I don't even. Here, back, down, up, take, up, out the way, up, down, up. Do they not get a queen at the same time? I'm not sure about that one. I'm not sure. Okay, what if you push now? I guess. Oh, maybe you could. Okay. You could go knight b8. Knight b8. If they push, you go here. So they have to go. I think it is this. Yeah. And then here. And then take. Alright, so this next one. The king moves here towards the center. Knight e5. I think knight e5 is too far away from the queen side if you go here. I think you just lose, right? Yeah, you actually lose. You're too far away right now. And the idea is the same. I see your point. I think they can move the king, though. Yeah, king here to c5. And now you don't have that idea. So if you went here, I think they can go really anywhere. King d6. And they move here. And then they go here. And then here. And then here. And now they can't. I guess, how do you. Here. Knight d5. You have to do something else. Yeah, king b7. And then you go all the way down. You're going to get a queen there with white. Knight b8. King b5. Knight c6. Okay, Joel, what is your record on this? I see you're getting a lot of them correct. We're at 52. The king is here on d6. My first thought here is knight e4. I don't, because the king can't go back like to this side right now. That's the one thing we know and we see. The king simply can't go here to c7. So I feel good about a knight to e4 idea, right? So you have knight to e4. They move the king. I guess after that, what would you do? Because they could just get out this way, right? It's not a very trap piece. That's making this more complicated. Could you go rook d1 first then? Because rook d1 first. And you're setting up knight c4 over rook here, win the queen. That does make more sense, honestly. Because if you go here and they slide, and then here, or like here, I cannot draw an arrow. If you go here, and then rook over, and then king down, there's nothing. I mean, I guess you could go there, but then take. You know, it's only queen versus 2 rooks. This other way, like here. Yeah, I think it's rook here first. Knight c4, queen b4 wins the queen. Knight c4. If they... I gotta be honest, I would not have seen that. But yeah, I think you're right there, you're right. If you go here, then here... So why can't you do my... You can't do my move. I'm curious why you can't do this, though. Oh, they could just move the queen out the way. Okay. Yeah, you're right. Because knight c4. And then if they take, it's that... But, okay, if they check, they can't... They have to go up and then check. What if... Oh, if you go in the center, then the rook slides. Ah, man, that's a crazy find, Joshua. Yeah, that's correct. Good find. I want to double check why mine was wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's because the king can go out the way, and then rook here. Yeah, I'll show that real quick. Take. Shout out. I can't take any credit for this one. The idea is that if they take this, you have this queen b4 check, and wherever they go, the king is just hunted. So you take this here on e7, and then if they go up, they go back here, and then up, and then rook here. And then here, and then finally you win the queen. What an eye. I was going to go rook d1, and the reason rook d1 doesn't actually work is that the queen can just move, I think. Yeah, the queen can just move out the way. And now it's just too slow. So, I don't get credit for that one. I'm at 52 still, but it is still alive. The queen is here on e4. The knight can slide here to c5. Playing online? No, so Freedman, I'm doing some puzzles right now. Tomorrow, and well, I don't know if I'll be on tomorrow, but my next stream, I'll be doing Rapid and Blitz games online. And then the stream after that, or the stream before this stream, I did viewer tournament. So I do those 3 things and I rotate them every day. So usually it's, today's this, and then next is rated play tomorrow, and then we'll have the tournaments the day after. And the queen is here on e4. This one... Knight c5. I don't think it works. Can you go here? I guess the knight slides in. Knight back. They really can't check you. Funnily enough, it's not that obvious how they could... What's my rapid elo? My rapid is 2206, I think. 2206. But yeah, let's see. Knight slides in. They capture. It has to be. Obviously, it's something on this side of the board. Knight a5. Knight a5. So if you go here. I guess that's the same thing I was saying. There's no check. And then you go there, take here. But they could, no, I don't know if it's knight a5 though. Because they could guard that square. There has to be a check. I think it has to be a check. So if you go here, no. I know that's not right, but I'm just showing all the checks. Queen there, it's probably not it. Knight here immediately. I don't think would work. Because, I mean, really any reason. It doesn't. It just doesn't work. They guard the square too much. But that's really all you could play. Like, taking... The king could just slide over. And then I don't see how you win it. And then if they took... I don't see how you win that either. Because you don't have another check. Well, it has to be something. So one of these things I'm saying that doesn't work must work. Because there's no way all of these don't work. Okay. Let's look at this knight. This knight can go here. It can go here. No. Knight c8. Knight c8. If you go here, I think they could go queen in. Or like queen here. One of the queen g7, a8 moves. You have another check. Take pawn. If you go here, and they go take. Check. Over. Check here. Can the king... Oh, maybe they're a fork in the center. I think you're right. Because capture, if they take, you have this check. But what if they go king here, though? Then you slide over. I mean, it has to be something. It has to be. Let's see. Is it that? Yeah. King takes. I still don't see it, though. I might just have to get this wrong and restart. I still don't get why this works. If you go, like, any move, I guess knight in. And then fork. Okay. Oh, no. You don't take the queen. You don't take the queen there, actually. You instead go knight checkmate. Yes, I do. I see it now. There's a knight mate at the end. I don't think I would have seen that. So they go here. I think I get why this works, right? Because this is checkmate. Take. Knight. You can't go here. Okay. It's knight here. And you can't go back because of this. Okay. And then the king has to slide over. Knight slides in, and they can only go back, right, because no other square is legal, and then that's checkmate. All right, great eye there from Krell, Jacob, and then a few people saw that one, and then Isor. A lot of people saw bishop captures c7. We stop at 52, really, because 53 was, shout out to Joshua, but I get 52 on that run. Let's try and up that. Definitely better than the first one, because the first one I got like 30 something, 38 or 37. So definitely higher. I think this first one, rook h8, you have opposition. Okay, we have the first three. Not that this was ever in doubt. We do have the first three here. The rook can slide here to c1, attacking the king, just like that. And the king can move out the way. This is a free rook for checkmate. Gonna push this passer and just go all the way down. And you're guarding their promotion square going to a1. This is checkmate because of the knight and the queen working together. The knight's gonna slide in. And then rook slides down. Mate in 1 because of pawn and queen. Mate in 1 on c2. Mate in 1 on f7. Queen and rook. Gonna sack the queen. And we're at 13 right here. Check, take bishop, mate on the ladder mate, Knight takes bishop. Bishop here is going to lead to checkmate. You can check and then go bishop here, check, and then take the rook for mate. All right, at 17. The rook's going to take the queen. You can take with this rook and then go rook to h1, checkmate. All right, the king slides forward. And this is where I have to take a pause for a second. I think it is just b7 though, because if you go b7, they can't stop both, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's not possible. And then probably king here, I'd assume. Why you can't go king here? I would think because they could take, and then you're in a drawn-in game. This is probably still winning. Yeah. Because you can run... Oh, no, what? You can't run all the way over? Oh, you just guarded. What am I doing? Well, we're going to have to restart that. That's crazy. How did I get that wrong? Well, good to know. I thought you could run over. You cannot run over. All right, take this rook here. Take the knight. Perfect. The rook slides over. Perfect. Man on the back rank. Take. This is a free queen. This is checkmate. This will be mate. Knight here doesn't work. Okay. Let me stop. The knight here doesn't work. You can go down here with the knight. If the king moves... No way. Oh, whoa. This is checkmate. There's nothing going in that. This is a free bishop there, mate. The queen can slide over check. Yeah. Queen here, check, because you have rook. If they go the other way, you have the bishop sliding in. Alright, rook slides over. What's the difference in doing this on normal puzzles? So the difference is this gets incrementally harder. It's the puzzles you're stuck at your rating. So I'd be doing puzzles like all in the 50s and 60s, basically, or maybe 40s to 60s. I don't know my exact rating on chess.com. Maybe 40s, but I'm doing like easier ones and then building up to more complex ones. So it's like you can see the ratings kind of. I don't know if you can see it on. I don't know if you can see it there. But like it's 168. Now we're doing a 600 rated puzzle, so it just gets harder and harder. Yeah, rook slides over, checkmate. The queen cannot go down here. I'm low key. Oh, you can go here and you take the rook. Say that's a diagonal check. Take, or take sack take. You can push towards the center. You get this pass here that they're too slow to stop. Check. Oh, they check you. Rook can take bishop. You take queen, and then you get out the way. And you have checkmate on the way there. Queen slides in. You're going to sack the queen again on e1 and get checkmate. The knight can go to e2, checkmate. Rook slides over, and then rook takes here on f1. Rook's going to slide, capture. You get the queen. You're going to win that game. And then the knight can bring itself here. Wherever they go, there should be a mate. So they go down. Well, knight slides in. That's all you have to do. Okay, king slides out the way. Bishop slides here to f6, giving this check. If they slide back, queen down, they go here, you take the knight. Because they can't go back up to c2, or to b2. So check, and then you check here for check. Take it there for checkmate. This is a double check mate on the way. You don't win the queen, you're going to win the game. Alright, this next one, the queen can slide in. That's mate on a6. The king's going to slide forward. Knight here is checkmate on h5. Check. You win the rook here on c7. Now what can we do? If you go... I think you can go rook to c1. Because if you bring this rook down, you're setting up checkmate. They have to go up, so you slide there anyways. They move, you take the rook. And you have two rooks and a knight versus a queen. Anything else I don't think works. Like just going here and taking is useless, I would say. Like here, they could then move the rook. Because this isn't checkmate. So you bring this rook down, threatening checkmate. And then boom, and you take. You have two rooks for the knight. I missed the queen sack in the bullet game. It always haunt me. Man, bullet games and haunt, dude, I get it. It's so many times. I'm like, how did I miss this? Or if I move literally a tenth of a second faster, it's a win. Like the margins are so small in 2-minute total games. And their knight is here on g3. It looks like there's a queen trap with f5. I mean, not f5, with g5. Because you're attacking the queen, and then if they move their bishop, you could take the queen. So if you go here, I feel like you could just slide over. Like, it's still a trap, isn't it? I think so. Oh, they can move the queen in. So take. I don't think you can take because then the knight could take. So you have to take immediately. Yeah, if you take first, then the knight slides in the way. Now you take the rook here. You're going to be up the material. But yeah, the king is going to slide here to h6. Stuff to see. You just took a forced draw even though. Man, that's the worst feeling. When you know it's a win, but it's like time or nerves. And you're like, yeah, let me just bail out and get the guaranteed half point. Dude, I understand completely. Yeah, the king is here on h6, queen f4. I think there should be a checkmate. because you're attacking on the 7th rank. So the queen's going to slide down, check. If they go up, you take. And then here, if they go up, you take. So I think this is just it. And the rook takes. Alright, at 27, you can just take the rook here. Because the knight is guarding the king's escape square. It's essentially like it has 2 pawns around it. And this is easier to see. But the knight being here functions the same way. Alright, for this next one, if you take, probably not it. Probably not it. We can see that this knight is only guarded by this bishop here. So we could go knight to h5, attacking. How much elo? So, what time? Do you mean over the board or online? And then what time control do you mean, Grox? But yeah, we can go here. Probably, yeah. And then now you take the knight. And then you go bishop down. And then knight down. And then king takes. Alright, we're at 29. The queen's going to go here to f3. We can go... Oh, I think it is just that. Yeah, bishop check. Because they can't go this way, right? They can't go on the dark square. They have to go up, and then we have that pin. Wanting the queen there, so let's go for that. And I would assume it's king over, because if you go up, the rook can slide check. This is probably a double check, checkmate. Oh, no, I'm in check. Okay. So I have to stop and think for a second. I would guess it's the knight taking, because if the other way, you actually might get mated. Because you take with the... I guess at 3 you can take back. It's either knight, queen, or king. I did that backwards, but these 3 pieces can all take it. I would assume it's king. No, I mean knight takes. Because if king takes, check, down, yeah, I think it's knight. And you capture. And there's this double check. I'll show it real quick. There's that double check checkmate there. I avoid elos in play. So do you know what your rating is then, Ver? Like, do you check after what elo? Or you don't know who you play, like, ever in their elo? Yeah, if they just move out the way, this is checkmate. Because it's double check, they can't take that. And then if you took with the king, I think they just get too much activity. Like here, they check you. And then here, and then check you. And here, another check. Yeah, it's just a lot happening here. Alright, so this next one. We're sitting at 31, I believe. Yeah, the king is here on c5. We can move up here to b6 attacking. Because they can't slide in, they have to go back. Then you take. Yeah. The only thing I'm having issue with is rook to d8 is checkmate. So what if you take first? Take here on c4. They go over. Oh, then you could go up here. Yeah. And then here winning the rook. Because this isn't mate. Check. They go over. Check. They take. Check. They go down. So you can just give this check. Wait. No. Was there check? Is that checkmate? Oh, knight down is mate. I'm like, there's no pawn mate, but there's a knight mate. Alright, so we missed that one. Their pawn is here on c5. I think you just take here. Yeah, and you're winning in that game. Alright, see the knight slides over. Rook slides over because of the pin. And then queen in. Knight's going to jump for it with the check. And now what can we take with? I think rook here is checkmate. Alright, we're at 34. The queen's going to slide with check. We move our bishop in, attacking. And you win the rook at the end. From what I... Well, okay, if you go here and they take. Take. Rook takes. Oh, bishop f1. Bishop f1 stops it. The king's going to slide here to h6. The queen can slide in, giving this check. If they go up, you would check again. They take, and then opposition checkmate. Alright, let's go to this next one. The knight's going to take here on f4. Rook sliding in wouldn't work. Oh, yes, it would. It would actually work. Yes. Here, why can't they go? Yeah, they can't go back because of that. And then here, they go back. Why wouldn't that work? maybe... But the thing is, you can do this, though. Because if the king takes... No, you can't. I'm thinking that's checkmate. They can just take the bishop. Okay, I gotta rethink this. I have to rethink what I just said there. So can you capture this rook, then, is the question. If you take this... So we have this pawn that's almost a passer right now. So capture, 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 up, over. It has something to do with this becoming a passer at some point. It's the how that I'm confused on. Alright, so rook takes. They would have to take this back. So that gives me a hope that that's the next. Oh, yeah, because then here. Now that would make sense. Because they go over, you'd go check. Yes. Now that's check because the king's back there. Alright, they're here on g4. Taking that doesn't seem like it would work. You could take here. You're really winning something. Yeah. You're winning something. Because you have those two pieces angled in on that file. Alright, we see that the king has slid here to a6. Rook slides over and their king slides in. I have no counter to that, really. But you know it has to be something along these lines because we don't have that many pieces. Going on, Jazzy, thank you for those likes there on TikTok. We're closing in on 700, it looks like. Doing some puzzles today. Trying to get to my record. Not the closest we got is 51. So not quite close. And Joshua as well. Appreciate those likes. I can finally see them because the first few I saw that popped up I could not see. But yeah, rook here to a4 check. And they move their king up. Oh, you could check. Yeah. Check here. Check. Take with the king. Check. They move. Check. That's a crazy mate. But I guess this is supposed to be kind of hard. And then you can go here. And this is going to be mate eventually. With this b3 and then rook over. And then that's mate. Alright, we're at 39. That's a cool one. The king is here on b6. What can we do now? So, we have a knight that could slide to... What is that? c4 pretty easily. Other than that, I'm not seeing anything that could be done. Knight c4. The king moves up. But I mean, I guess that could work. And then Miha, execute. Yeah, a lot of people sending their likes right now. And then Miha, appreciate those likes from you guys. Yeah, the knight can slide in, check. If they move their king forward, you could take. Yeah, but after that, the problem is the rook can't slide here, right? And they have mate in one. I guess you know it has to be checks though. So that makes it just what checks. So that, okay, this is the first move then, because you have to check them. This is checkmate. This is the only other check, so we know it's knight in. The only other check was taking there. Again, you know it has to be check because there's a mate in one. You could take here. The issue I'm having is that if they take the knight after you take that, that's why I'm not sure if it's that. Because I don't know how you could win after the king takes that and rook slides over. Is it just to not lose the game? That could be. Okay, let's say you do take on b7. And then the king takes the knight. And you give a rook check. And then go here. Take check here. The queen can't even... Oh, wait. You could do this if they take and then queen takes. And then over. And then down. Okay, so that's... I'm thinking too small there. So take, if they move here, the same thing. They slide in. And then you could throw the knight away, check. Yeah, I think you do take. Okay, and then you take here. That's what I was missing is that, I'm like, after this, like, here's where I was at in my head. Like, what do you do after this? You could take on a6 check. Because I'm like, rook c1 doesn't work, and it doesn't work. But it's something else you could play. Then you take here on d3. All right, let's show that real quick. And then Mihal, again, appreciate all these likes. Knight check and a4 it may work. I think a4, I'll show that too. So a4, and then a pawn check. Okay, let's look at those. So here, oh, you're both saying a4. I think the problem is, after take, I don't see a follow-up. That's why you need to soften up the position by taking b7 first. Because if the rook slides and king slides in, I don't think there's... I guess you could go... Oh, they're not supposed to do that, actually. Oh, they take here on b4. And now you take... Really, this is not winning? They take the knight. Now it's what I was saying, is that you can't give this other check. Yeah. Because rook c1, I was looking at that the whole time. And I was like, why can you not... Like, why is this possible? But here's where I'm like, this just doesn't work because it doesn't work. So I didn't want to see. But once I saw this, like, yeah. And then if I assume this, but then you take. But that's the same thing, taking there on d5. All right, and then execute. Appreciate these likes. Closing in on 3,000 there on TikTok. Let's go to this next one. We're at 40. Can we get to 41? All right, the rook is here on f4. You could go down. Is it that easy? Maybe not. Oh, it's not. No, it's definitely not. Because the queen sliding in on a3 would be game losing for white. So you have to stop. Can you just go like rook d6? I don't know how. Maybe it's not game losing though. Let's say you get a queen. So queen a3, king d2, queen check, or queen here, over, down, check, over, down, up. And I think you're defending, honestly. I think you can just... Appreciate the donation there, execute. Yeah, appreciate that, I think you can go down and get a queen, though. Yes. You can't go here. Oh, you can go here. That's what it is. You can definitely go here. Because if you go here, and they go here, you go here, they take, you take, they take, and then king over, check over. Yes. At first, I didn't think you can move your king over. And then Danny execute. Appreciate these likes. But yeah, I think it's king b1. Yeah. And then back. Take. And your queen just moves out the way. And they can't check you forever. Alright, this next one. The queen is here on d2. I think the queen can slide in. And that's... Oh, no, you're in check. Well, the queen can't slide in then. There is a mate. Or is it here? So your queen can block if they give that second check on h2. Because here, take, back over, check, and then execute. Appreciate those donations there on TikTok. Much appreciated. But yeah, the queen is here on d2, checking the king, and I think you have to go here. Because if you go over here, queen takes on c2, you go back. Yeah, you're stuck, basically. No, you can't go there. It is there. You go all the way in the center. Okay, why can you not go in the corner? That's what I want to know. You cannot go in the corner. Here. Oh, they just literally go back and forth on e5. Okay, that makes way more sense. Even though I got that wrong, I see what I was missing is that, which I should not have missed. This one I think I see, though. Capture. I think you can just capture this. Because if you go queen here, then you go knight back. I think you have to take the knight first. And then you're up a minor piece. And then you can go queen here. Then win this second minor piece, so now you can drop the knight, because you'll be up 2. The knight's going to drop back. What ideas do we have here? Rook can take, but that's probably not it. No. I tried to switch my whole setup, and they still... I still got restricted there. Here's the father, execute as well, more popular. Man, appreciate that. Appreciate the kind words. TikTok does not feel the same way, bro. Again, I switched up the whole setup. I don't know. I don't understand this, though. Because I looked at other people's setup. And this but mine's getting taken down. I don't understand what I can do. But their knight's here on h7. I think you take this because they have g6 hanging there at the end. Let's see. Alright. And this is not going to get accepted. Well, you can take this here, and you can take there at the end. I'm pretty sure. And then you can go here over. I think so. Yeah. Here, they slide their king out the way. And then after that, I'm not sure, though. After that, I'm not sure. So queen slides over, check. The king slides over. And then you could... Huh. Now what do you do? Can you move the bishop in? That feels like that's too slow. If you take... Oh, you could take the knight. They take... And then queen here. And now you're equal. So the bishop captures here on c5. Next up, we could capture on b7. Rook takes, and then queen. Yeah, they never approve my appeals, man. That's crazy. I'm just playing chess. But the bishop's here. Can't do nothing about that. Capture, rook takes, and you're throwing checkmate here on f3. Yes. Slide. Oh, you can't go there. Really? Why can't you do that? I want to see that one. You cannot do that. Oh, because... Yeah, okay. I missed that the queen could slide there to e4. That makes sense. So let's go to this next one here. We're going to have to restart and see if we can get a win. And then Joshua, appreciate these likes. Sitting at 43. Alright, 3, 2, 1. Queen takes, take queen. That's a pretty simple idea. And then Matt, appreciate the follow there. Queen can take knight here on h4. It could do that. And then the queen can slide down. So let's just do that here. Take. Take here on g8. And then the king's going to have to go here to e7. I believe. King e7, queen g7. You just have to get out the way. Alright, the king slides over. You have the white pieces. Rook here to h6. Checkmate. The knight's going to take. Rook down. Checkmate. Rook slides over. Checkmate. And then the queen's going to take here on h2 for mate as well. So the first 6 are completed. First 7, that's like a double whammy there. You have 2 pieces that allow that to be mate. We take there. The pawn's going to push forward. Take here. Check. And that's going to be mate. The knight should have a check that's mate. Yeah, knight h6. You can take the knight for free. Or you could go here attacking the king. You could take this pawn here and get mate eventually. Queen takes on g2, checkmate with the rook. The knight guards the escape square. You're going to sack the queen here on f1. And we have the first 14 here. Alright, they have this check, right? So we have to stop it. You could go back here attacking. You take the rook because that bishop is hanging at the end. And rook here to h7, getting out the way completely. Alright, their pawn pushes down. We have the white pieces. I think it's just a race here. And you have to sack. And their pawns are too slow to catch up. Here we are with the queen. We should be able to stop them. Queen slides down to f2. Queen down here to f1. And that's going to be checkmate there against the king. Alright, check. Bishop here to c4. And then take the rook there. Next up. Okay. Bishop takes knight here. And then queen h5. Checkmate. Bishop slides in. Knight slides in for mate. And you see we have this mate idea. So let's go queen here to h3. You just slide out the way. You don't want to slide on the file. You don't want to go over because rook down. So you're going to take here. Now you go king g7. And now king slides up again. You have mate that's unstoppable. On this next turn, we can go rook d1, I believe. Rook d1 should be checkmate. Let's go here. Take on d2. Next up, the king slides over. Bishop slides in. They go over. And then knight c3. And that's perfect. So check. And then knight here, checkmate. And the knight's going to slide in. This is another check. If you take this, you'd be up a piece momentarily. They could go here. You could take that. And move the bishop out the way there to f8 at the end. This should be a double checkmate. Knight h3, queen drops down here to g1, and then knight f2 mate attacking the king. That's just a smothered mate tactic. The king slides forward. The rook can jump all the way over here to g8 check. If they move out the way, we can... We could go... No, you can't go g4. That wouldn't actually work. That's making me second guess my initial thought. So rook gives this check here on... Oops. On g8. The king can't slide over, right? Because queen in, up, that's mate. So they wouldn't do that. It'd be check and then king slides up. Now this is where it's like, well, what can you do to follow up? Because they have a mate and 2 idea. So you have to have all checks that happen. It has to be all checks. So check. King moves. If you give a check... Oh, I think you can go. No, but you can't go there. Oh, yeah, you can because the queen can't take. Yeah. Now you take the queen. That's what I missed at first. Alright, the rook takes here on f7. The queen could probably just slide in. And then... That probably is all you need. If the rook slides down... Or could you go rook down? But I don't see how that would work either, though. Because if you go rook down, they could go... I don't know. I feel like I could stop what I'm trying to do. If you go queen to e4, they go rook f3. And that also seems kind of hard to stop what I'm doing. So check here on e4. Queen slides back. They move their rook down here to f3. And then you go rook d1. Or you go rook d1 immediately. Controlling this first rank. But if you, even if you got that and went queen there, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to go for this, yeah. And now rook down. So they can't go rook f3, I'm guessing. Because now rook here is a checkmate. I want to see why they can't do that, though. Because I was missing that. But it made some level of sense to me. Okay, rook slides here to f3. Oh, rook d3. How did I miss that? Rook d3. I'll do this next one. And then, for those on TikTok, I think I'm about to restart the stream. Because I got restricted, so I want to restart it. Hopefully, it does not happen again. Let's see. Yeah, I'll be right back on you like 2 seconds. And then I will not do a puzzle without you guys. I'm about to just stop it and restart it immediately. So I'll be right back. Alright, exit. And thank you all for waiting for 1 sec. Dealing with some issues there on TikTok again. Hopefully it will be fixed quickly. But yeah, let's go here and then go live. And then go live. And then... Alright, we're back on the puzzles. So the queen is here on g7. What can we do next with the queen sitting there? Queen to d1 is my first thought. Because you go queen to d1, I don't see how they could stop the checkmate with bishop sliding into e1 at the end. Because they wouldn't be able to get away on the diagonal, right? There wouldn't be a way to stop that. It would be a forced... It should be a forced mate that way. With queen going here to d1. Sack my king. That is an option. That is an option. I don't think it's the move here, though. But we can go queen to d1 and then bishop down. Yeah. The bishop's here on e4. Where can we go here? Rook takes on e4. Rook captures. Maybe you could go up. Oh, yeah, up. And then they go over. And then over and then up. Yeah, you can remove the defender. And you take the bishop here in the center with the pawns getting aggressive. All right, they take here on f2. We need pieces, and you can take here. because they take, you take that. So capture. And then capture, and you capture the bishop. Alright, we got the first 30. A good start, not the worst start at all. Their knight is here on d5. If bishop takes, bishop takes. Or is it just take because you have the fork at the end there? Here, and you win the queen. Alright, the king's going to slide out the way. You don't have a queen, you have the bishop pair, a knight, and a rook to do work. This is a free bishop too. So you know that this check should work. Rook g1. Alright, they go back. Now the follow. Rook can just take, I believe. Rook can just take. I don't know how you get checkmate, but it can take because the bishop here is helping control this diagonal. So it's completely controlled. And then capturing here. It could work. It could work out. Could work out. Yeah, I don't see another way to even try. Because if you go knight here and they go back, how else could you do it? So let's get our rook involved. And now you can go down. And then go here, you go your knight here to f5. So we're at 32. Alright, on this one I think you can sack the queen. And then rook here to d8. And this is checkmate because the knight. Alright, you see that the king castles. It gets away. Pushing up should be a win, not just winning material. Yeah, now you take the knight. And you go rook down. And that's checkmate. The pawn pushing wouldn't actually work, so you need it to get the rook involved. You can take here on g3 with this pen idea. And then go checkmate on g2. Alright, see the queen has lifted up. If you take the queen right now, they take and you take on c6. I think that's a pretty simple tactic. Here, they stop it, kind of. Because, okay. The reason this works, I think, is that if you go here, they take. If you go up, they fork. But I think you can go here, bishop e6, where there's no huge weakness. They can't take down with check again without losing a piece. And now you take the knight here on c6. So that is a little complex. Let's go to this next one. The rook captures here on f3. What can we do? Rook captures f3. Rook x f3. Jx f3, q captures. But they sacrifice. That is the big issue. They sacrifice. What if you take back this way first, though? If you take here first. Rook takes. But no, you could take this way too, though. Rook captures on f3. So today I'm just doing some puzzles. In the future, I do viewer tournaments every third stream. So that was my last stream. So I have one more type of stream before I get back to that. Next year I'm playing rated games online. But it will... The viewer tournaments, they go on for a while. And I usually play pretty much anyone that joins in them. But yeah, the rook is here on f3. I think the rook can just take. And then the queen can just take. And then take. Alright, at 37. And their bishop is here on a3. So what can we do right here? We can do what? If we go to d4, I'm trying to cut off the connection. I don't get how you could do that, though. So d4, if they take. They take your queen first. Oh, I guess you could take. Yeah, that does work, actually. Here. Because you're threatening to take the knight with check. And now you take the bishop. So we're at 38, and we see their pawn has gone down. Okay. What we know is that they're 2 squares away from a queen. So if we go king here to c6, and they go h3, so here, or h2 I mean, h2, we could then go a7, they slide, check up, king down, queen, check up, checkmate, when they have a queen on the board still. So king here. Here they have to go over. Here they have to take. Here they would promote. Queen. Yeah, I think that's what you have to do. So pawn's going to go down, check. And then you have... Does it matter the order is the question. Oh, yeah, it does. It does. You definitely can't just go king blue because they get the queen. So, yeah, check again. King down. We'll get the queen here. And then if they get the queen, I think you're just a lot faster than them. So, let's take a look. When you get the queen here, if they get a queen here, there's just this checkmate idea, right? So, there's nothing they can do to get out the way. They're too slow there. So we got that win, got that puzzle win. We're sitting at 39. And our pawn pushes forward. I think if you take it, should just be a win of a race. Here, if they move, here they move, here they move, here. So then take, push. Okay. Take, push, 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 up, up, queen, but they queen with check, and that's an issue. But what you could do instead, you could take, if they push, king down, push, king down, push, king down. Yeah, your king is just fast enough to get there. And we get the first 40. All right, very nice start there. We go to this next game. The pawn goes here to g3. We could make them just sacrifice. We can make them just sacrifice their rook for the bishop if you go queen to h3. Oh, no, they could. No, that's wrong. If you go here and they take, they take your queen. So you can't just go queen h3 simply. What can you do instead? Maybe you can sack the queen. King takes, yeah, I think you do sack the queen. And then rook slides over here and then checkmate on h1. So we're sitting at 41 here. The rook is here on b2. And you can't go queen e5 because the knight guards that square. So where can he go instead? Instead of there, we could consider rook f7. And probably not that. Probably not that. Rook captures on e6. Feels like it would be. Feels like it would be a good idea. If you take here on e6, rook take or king takes. Bishop in, king back. Well, it has to be something. It has to be something. And I'm not sure because you can't go back here. The knight takes. You need to have like another piece attacking on e6 besides the rook. But doing that too slowly, there's a checkmate on d2. So let's say you sacrifice here, right? They take. If you're to go bishop here to g4 check, they slide over and then checkmate. That could be the idea. But they go over instead to avoid the mate there on f6. Now this is another mate though. Yeah, it was mate in one regardless. Their queen slides here to f3. What do we have here? I think queen check back and then up just winning the bishop is probably the idea. But that wins more. That actually wins the game. That's a forced mate. Oh, no. It's there first and then it's the forced mate. Why can you not do that immediately? What's the difference? What's the difference? Here, king c1, d3. Oh, bishop d1 now. I missed bishop d1. qx d2. qx d2. Do you mean this puzzle here? Let's see. No, not here. So you do mean this puzzle. qx d2. I don't... What puzzle are you referring to there? For the queen captures d2. Yeah, and the king is here in the corner. My first thought is to go rook down, king up, and then bring our rook here to d8. And if they go over, you check and then take. I think that's how you do it. Rook here. And then you go rook here. Because if you get the queen up now, that's a draw. And then you have to go here. And then you take this. Alright, so this next one. The rook is here on e1. What do we have? You could go up to b5. Attacking the king, just going up this one square here. The king would have to capture, so you know it's forced. Rook over, king back. And then rook up. Check. Rook c7. King anywhere. Rook check. Captures, captures. Yeah, I think that's it. And then rook c7. And then check here. And then take. If they take the rook, the queen takes. Alright, we got that one correct. We're sitting at 44. Let's see. If the queen goes to d3, the bishop will take. So that wouldn't work. We could instead... I don't know. If you go queen here to d5 and the king takes the rook, that's not going to work because this rook is free and you need to keep checking them. If you sacrifice the rook... Okay, what if you sack the rook, king takes, rook over, checkmate? No, that's not it. Maybe I could have calculated it more. Yeah, not correct. That is the idea, though, to sack the rook, just not in that order. So we're sitting at 44, 42 or 44? 44. That honestly was probably findable. This is mate in 1. Oh, no. It's almost mate in 1. Almost. What could we do? What is this one? Check over. What is it if it's not just up? Because the rook slides over to guard this pawn to promote. Do you just go rook over, stopping that? Because you go here, the king just slides. If you go here, they take this. If you go here, they have that check. No. I got, wow, 3 out of the last 5 incorrect. Oh, you have to go down towards the rook. All right, that's a good pattern to remember. All right, we stop at 44 on that one. Another run, not quite where we want to be at, but we want to get that check. Rook down check. Queen takes rook. All right, and we're sitting at the first 5 right here. All right, let's see if we can get the first 10, and then the first 20 and the first 30. But this is where you have to start off at. Queen's going to go here, check. Queen to g7, checkmate. Queen to h6, checkmate. Queen takes mate, the king can't move. Bishop check here on c5. Capture, and then queen takes here on f1. Alright, next up, queen can go here to d4. And that's all you need. The rook's going to capture on d1. Queen to c7, and then queen captures, and that's going to be mate there on b7 at the end. Perfect. The rook slides down, rook here to h4, and that's checkmate. Knight check, and then queen here to h3 checkmate. You take the queen. Then the queen can slide over. You need the rook to slide over laterally, and you attack that king there, take, and you win the queen. Alright, what now? Knight takes check, take. Then you take the rook for free. Completely free. The rook's going to capture something here on c2. I think you can take this, and then they take here, and then rook over. Threatening rook down should be the idea. Let's see if that's correct. Rook takes, rook c1. You take the bishop, yeah. Otherwise, they would have lost the rook there on h1 or h8. You see that their rook slides over. Your rook can also, I guess the rook can go here. So if they go king here, that's checkmate on g2. So let's go queen here to g8. You take knight, and you get checkmate here because the king can't slide due to that bishop there. For this one, I think it's knight e3, because then when the king goes here, you just give checkmate, and if they go up, it's the same thing. Yeah, just knight e3. All right, the rook's going to slide over for this one. Queen to c6 makes a lot of sense, as you have two attackers. It's a die square bishop, it can't help it, and because of this pawn here, the rook can't slide over. So just move our queen here. The rook can't move for the discovered attack on my king, and we take this, and then take this. All right, we're up a rook in that one, and then knight slides here to h4 on this one. The bishop can go here. Sliding up is where my worry is, so I'm not certain it's that. But maybe going. Oh, wait. You can't do that. The knight slides in. So what can you do? I gotta think that one through. Because you go here, knight takes on f3. So bishop goes here to b5, check. They have to go up, and then you go here, taking that. And then here, up, you take. Okay, yeah, here. And then check, and you take the knight here at the end. This is going to be mate here on g1, because the pawn... I guess really this pawn makes it checkmate. Because usually this pawn's not even doing anything, really. This would still be mate rook g1 if the pawn wasn't there. Alright, the rook slides. This rook can't go down because the bishop can replace it, but this rook can go to d8, and that will be checkmate. Alright, go to this next one. The queen drops back. You can take the queen. The king takes, and the knight slides in, going for that game-winning fork. Here, capture. Alright. Oh, queen just down here to d8. And the king slides forward on this next one to c5. We could go rook to e5. But rook e5 I don't think works. So rook e5, king c4. I don't see another place you could put your queen really to attack them. But I think the rook has to check. Because if the queen moves, you're giving up. Like if you go here, you're giving back access to the 6th rank. Right now they can only move on these like ranks, like 1 through 5. So when we move the queen back, it stops that from being true. So that's why I'm leaning towards rook sliding in, check. Yes, and that's all you have to find. They go up here to f6. The queen goes here, check. You take this, and you take the rook. We're at 28. All right, the king's going to jump forward, setting up mate on d5. The queen drops here. So what do we see? If we take the rook, the king has to take. You take that, they take. And we're in the same spot we're in right now, honestly. Is there any way to stop something good from happening for them, or get something good to happen? The bishop attacking the rook is... I don't know, is that even worth doing? Like, I don't know if that does anything. Like, going here, they just take. Here, you can't cut off the connection to the bishop and queen connection. But that's what I think it is. You have to somehow get rid of that connection. If rook takes, king takes. Like, queen down, king over, and they're safe. I don't see this one. I would guess... Well, it's definitely one of the capture moves. Because there's no way you can just move the bishop. So it's here or here. I'm not sure which one. If I'm going to guess... I should not be guessing on 30. But if I'm lost, I'm lost, I guess. It would probably be the one that's a check. But why does that work, though? Here. And then if you checked here on f7, why does this work? Well, I think it has to be this piece though, because this way it's not a check. And I don't know, I just feel like it has to be, if I'm guessing, it has to be the more forcing move. So let's go for this. It is that. Could you go queen in now? Oh, maybe it's queen in. Yeah, queen in. They go over. Down. Yeah, I think it is queen here. Yes. Now the queen slides in, they move their king out the way. Check up. Oh, and then you can go knight fork. That seems like a lot of moves for number 30, but I get it correct eventually. The rook's going to go up here. I think you can just take this because the bishop and queen... this is so much easier. You can take this here on f7. 2 pieces converging on this attack. Take on f1, queen d, king g1, queen d1, king g3, knight. Yes. I think that's exactly what happens, too. Let's see. Rook is f1. Yes, I see the big cheese, and Richard had that one. Alright, let's go to this next one. But you can just take this, I'm pretty sure, and that's just it. I'm going to take here on c3, check as well. So you take with the knight or the pawn back. Which one makes more sense? I would assume the knight taking makes a little more sense because you're attacking the queen at least. My only... Oh, maybe it's a pawn though. Because if knight takes... No, I think it's knight takes. Knight takes here. They can't... If they go here... Yeah, knight takes. They move over. If you capture, the bishop slides in. That's not good. That would not be a good thing. Because if you take this, this is like mate almost. I think that is mate. Yeah, you go here, and then here. Like, that's just not good. Right now, we're not up any material. Maybe it's a way you can keep it. Oh, yeah, you can. Here, if the bishop slides, king e2. And then if they go bishop check, king back. And there's always, you're always attacking their queen as well. So I think you just have to go back again here to e2. Yeah. And I'll show that real quick because you're constantly giving that counter pressure this way. So if they go, I don't know, like here, you can just go king e1 because you're still at, like, if they take this, you take this. So it's fine. And then if instead they're like, okay, that's the only thing they could do. Here, here. There's no other checks really. Like here, I think you just go bishop e2. Yeah. And you're perfectly fine, despite not looking like you are. So we have the first 32, I think. And their pawn is here on d4. I think it's queen sack here on g7. And then rook takes here on e8. And take queen and take the rook at the end. Alright, the rook slides over. What do we have for this next one here? Rook down. What if they just go queen here? I feel like there's no agency there. There's no quickness, no urgency. Rook slides in, capture, capture, capture. That's checkmate. But here they could just guard it if take, queen takes. And that seems like a waste of a plan. But I think this is it though. Okay, queen has to take that. And then queen takes. What did I miss there at the end where I could not see why it worked? So if here. Wait, no, not here. Not here. Here. Rook f8, kicks f8. Oh, you can take this. Oh, you're attacking both of there. Both there. That's pretty cool. Go on, D square. Hope you're well. Merry Christmas, belated Christmas to you as well. Appreciate the kind words there. Doing some puzzles right now, trying to get a personal best. We're sitting at 34 right now. We're over halfway there, so I'll take that. But for this next one, I think it's queen. I think it's queen f6 because the rook slides forward here. You take. So check. And you can't go down because the king slides up. But oh, you can't take this. Hold on. What can you do? I don't get that. Maybe you still go here and then king back up and then check and then up and then you take on f7. Yeah. And then check again. Rook up. Rook b7. That is probably it. Here, yeah, that's all you have to find. Alright, they give this check here on g7. The king has to move out the way, and it's probably better to do this instead of just dropping the rook, because if you go here, there's an immediate checkmate. So I think king f7, take this, and you just push this down. And they can't catch it. They're too slow to catch that. And we get the first 36. Alright, I'd say the first 37. This is just mate in one, because the pawn can't move, and the bishop guards that g8 square right there. So I think it is knight here to g6. Rook takes pawn. Rook takes pawn. Which one are you? Oh, here. I don't think... The rook can't take it because you're in check right here on f8, unfortunately. I think if you weren't in check, though, you could get out the way. But their bishop is here on g2. Knight. Oh, you can move your queen in. Queen here if the king slides over. I don't know what you could do after that. Queen h4, king f1. Oh, you could go bishop here. If they take, that's checkmate. That's pretty cool. Here, here, removing the defender, and then mate here on f2. Alright, at 38, they go up here to b4. You know there's a mate here somewhere. It's always fun to try and find the exact, like, configuration. But I think it's rook g7. Appreciate that, d square. But yeah, where I do puzzles, I do puzzles on stream on chess.com, but off stream I do them on Lichess. When you go rook here to g7 attacking the king, they can't make any forward progress. They'd have to go back. So I want to start there. They have to go back. And they can't slide over at all, right? So if you give this check, they slide. Knight check, over, check, over. I'm not sure how you get mate exactly, but I mean, it has to be, because you're not guarding the rook, that's the only thing. So check, king slides out the way. Check, king over. Like, you need to both give a check and guard the rook. That's the only problem I'm having. But you definitely can't do that because you're cutting off the connection. So it has to be here. We'll just do this first. What is the continuation, though? Is it knight in? But the king just slides over. I don't get how you avoid the king just sliding over here. Now you give this check. Oh, it's bishop captures at the end, and then here, and then bishop here. Okay. And then bishop here. I was mentioning bishop captures h7. Alright, the queen is here on a8. Let's see. What do we have? There's this. Why would they not go here? Well, they don't play there, but we have a chance now. Bishop just goes here to g4 check. They go up, and then you take here on g2. Let's see if that is... How do you evaluate different candidate moves? Just look at what they can do in response, or am I... That's a great question. So I can try and talk to that a little bit more. So for this turn, I think it's not as fun to do because this one it's a pretty when I'm thinking about, I'm not thinking of too many other moves because I know it has to be a check because queen here to b7. So when I know it has to be a check, you have the idea of just you have to check back. And for this, there are no other candidate moves. But next one, I'm sure there'll be more, and I can go more in depth. But this one, I'm almost certain is bishop g4, and it's also just forced mate with. Maybe not forced mate, but this is just you know this is an issue, right? So you look at white's position, you have to stop that. Can you stop it? I guess would be the first question. No, you can't stop it. So you have to counterattack. That's why I'm almost certain it's here. Yeah. Are these mate puzzles? No, this is all types of puzzles right now. And then queen takes here, and then you can, I don't understand how you win it though, because you could take, yeah, and they go here, then you go here, then here, whatever. You can't take this, I don't think, because then they just go here. Okay, this is where we can think of candidate moves. So candidate moves, queen takes or bishop takes, right? Those are the only two I'm considering. Like queen down, I don't think would work because the bishop's hanging. And you could do the same thing. You could check without having a piece hanging. So that's why I'm not considering queen f1 because I lose the bishop on g4. So either queen takes on f3 or bishop captures f3. Between the two, at first I was thinking bishop takes, but I think my hesitation with that is that they go here. And there's no other check. At least with queen captures, king moves, check. Yeah, if they move, then you take the bishop, right? So I think that's the difference. We'll see if I'm right, but this is why they get to take this way. Yeah. And then check, because the king has to stay off the light square diagonal going down here. And they can't go forward because of this pawn. They have to slide. So you could take the bishop with check this way. So check, and you take it. And now that knight's hanging at the end. Just show that real quick. What's going on? My best score is 62. 62 is my best. Trying to get there, but I have not got close today. But the idea is that if you were to take with the bishop, there's just nothing after king c2. So that's why it has to be with the queen lining this up. And they move out the way, and you have to check. And then you take this, and then they would move, and you could take the knight, I think. Yeah, if you take the knight, you'll be up some material. Alright, let's go to this next one. There might be even a better way to do that. That's what I would have done, though. You see that they have their queen here on e3. So my first thought is simply to go d4, because it would win a piece. And usually you have to think about these, like, is there a check? There's no check. They're on a light square, on a dark square, and they can't get to any of my light squares easily. Like, when the queen is on a dark square, only get to a light square laterally, or vertically or laterally. It can't get to a light square this way, because on a dark square. So we know we can look here, and they can't check me with the queen. So that's why I'm assuming here. The knight could slide in, like a rook could slide over, but all in all, I think this is the move, yeah. And they slide here looking to attack my rook. So there is some counterplay here. So what do I do to the counterplay? If you take the knight, they take on g7. That's not feeling like that's that good, honestly. So let's see. If you take the knight, so dx c3, qx g6, cx b2, rook over, and you can't really get over in time. The knight's going to be hanging. If you take, they take queen down, check. If the king slides over, I still don't think you could get there. I think that's just lost. So I'm not sure, honestly. I would guess you have to take the knight, though, because otherwise, I don't understand why it would be a puzzle. But after queen takes on g7, queen d2, king slides over. Oh, then you could take, yeah, okay, I see it. They don't even do that. I'll show in a second, but they can't take that. Now the rook slides over. The queen can go... Oh, you could... No, you can't do that, because here, they slide all the way back. Huh. I did not consider rook d1. The other moves I saw what to do. With rook d1, I'm not as sure. Because queen capture g7 is an issue. Queen e7, qx g7. Could you go queen a5? Queen a5. They take. Take, check. I mean, it has to be... You can't... Yeah, it has to be something out there. Because you can't guard this. The queen can't slide over. If the king guards it, and your rook's... Yeah, I think it's here. Yeah. I'll show why they can't go over, though. It doesn't matter. Like, if instead they do this, you could give this check. Yeah. This check, they go over. And then you could take here. So now if they take, you could go queen here to c1. This isn't... Is this not the best move? Oh, no, it's saying... Oh, what am I talking about? You can just... you can just take that. But it's fine either way. But you could just take the rook when you do it this way. So now... my bad. It's rook here, and then it's queen here. Yeah. I'm like, why would you not just take that? But they come out the way first, and then... This is what I saw. And then rook takes, and then here. And then here. And then if you took this, and then they take this, you're still winning. I think probably after here. Because the queen can't slide out the way, and the rook guards the knight. Alright, let's go to this next one. We're sitting at... What am I sitting at? Sitting at 41 right now. So not bad. Their pawn is here on c3. We have the white pieces. I think it's just king a6. King a6, sliding in. If they go knight here... Is it mate or... The question is it a mate? Or is it... attacking pieces? So if you go here and they go knight in, I don't know. King slides in. If they move their knight forward, you then can't push because knight takes, And there's no way forward that way. That's why I think it's king to c6 instead. I appreciate the follow, not much to it. I think it's king c6. If their knight slides in here. No, it would have to be here. Because if you go here, and even if you got what you wanted, which is like check over check. If the king's on c6, they could just take this. Oh, then you promote. Okay, so maybe you can sack the knight. So here, the knight slides. That's where I'm getting lost, though. If the knight slides... Oh, could you go knight c8 in that line? Oh, you could. You definitely could do that. So here, here. That's why you need the king here. So let's say move our king. And they're trying to stop checkmate. Which way with the king? I think you have to go here, though. Because, okay, if you go here and then go knight in, and you go knight c8, could they not just go here? Because here, but then this way, here, check. Oh, this is checkmate. Oh, that's what it, yeah, this is just mate in one here. Because the king can't go there or there. Or not mate in one. Like, it's not mate because it's not check. But like here and then over and then that's... I think you need to have that square for your knight instead of your king. Man, this is a fun one. So king c6, king a6 are the only two options I'm considering here. Appreciate that, Mike. Appreciate the support from Hungary. Appreciate the support, man. But I think the king can go to a6. This is so awesome. Yeah, absolutely, D-Squirt. I'm glad it's helpful and good for you. Let's go on a Modesh, but I think it's a6. Yeah, they slide in. Take, bishop takes. Check. Yeah. And you have to check. They go over. You check again. They go here and then checkmate. Or not checkmate. You win the queen. Here, and you get the queen. Alright, I'll show the difference. Because of knight c6, I don't think it quite worked the same way. Or king c6. It doesn't quite work. Because they go in. And now it's saying bishop c1. Like, you can't go for any plan, really. Take, check. And then if they go over, there's no... Oh, you can't even go there. Oh, if I saw you could not go bishop f4, I would have done that instantly. For some reason, I saw bishop f4. I missed that g5 is there. That's like a hint that you cannot go for this. Oh, well, I missed that idea. Well, that was a lot easier than I thought then. Somehow I didn't see I probably saw the pawn. I forgot how it could move. But the bishop's here on b5. Where can we go on this one? There are no instant well, there are instant checks, but they're not good instant checks. Going queen g3 or queen captures g2. So probably not those moves. I mean, it has to be something. We see they have these 3 pieces in the vicinity of my king. The queen can't slide in here. The rook could take here on a2. Okay, rook takes a2. Only move that I'm seeing right now. If the bishop slides back, that could... Would elo? So do you mean over the board or online? And if you mean online, what time control? Now we can take here on a2 with this check. The bishop can go back. I guess you could sack. King takes online 10 minutes, 22:06, I believe. Yeah, here. I guess you could have pin at the end of that, but that's probably... I don't know. I don't think that's right. And Alex, appreciate those likes. But I think this is the first move, though. I don't think I really don't see this one. This is the only move that I can see, though. So I'll go from there. Yeah, there's no other check. With the bishop back, so can you sack? I mean, I guess you would have to, because... Well, hold on. They only have one check. Well, no, they have that check and then up and then check again. And then planets, appreciate those likes there. Closing in on hit 100. Closing in on 200. I mean, you would have to take that. Like, I don't know what else you could do. Take that, king takes, queen takes, king up, bishop check. King moves, take, check, over, check, over. I guess they can't keep you. Huh, I guess they couldn't keep you on the queen side if you did it that way, though. Maybe you can just take it. Well, there's nothing else I see, so if it's wrong, it's wrong. Yeah, that's correct. And then... they don't make you solve too much more. Thankfully, I may have got it wrong if they... if it was too much more. I saw king up and then bishop here. Is that right? That is right. Mate in 20? I did not see that. There's a forced mate in 20. Take here, and then here, and then here. Oh, you can't. Oh, whoa, you can't do that because of that. So is it check then? And then bishop d2. Ah, interesting. Well, luckily I didn't get that far. We won the material. The rook captures a2 and rook captures on e2 there. On this next puzzle, their king is here on g3. Where can we go? We have rook to g5 check, attacking the king. So rook g5 attacks king. King goes there to f2. And then queen e2. I guess the queen can't go to e2 at all. Queen f4. Queen f4. King f2. Queen check. If they rotate back up, I don't see how that does anything. Maybe it's rook moves then? Because the rook gives a check on g5. Down, check, down. But even that, like, I don't understand how that'd be mate at all. But it makes more sense than the queen moving, honestly. Because queen f4, there's no way that's it. Queen f4, check. They go down, and there's just no more. The rook can't ever get active. I think that's the difference between the two. If you go here, 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 it doesn't matter how good it looks if the rook can't get involved. So that's why I'm leaning towards rook g5. I want to see it, though. I want to see why it is that. Because rook g5, they do the same exact thing. And rook down. After, they could only go back here. I just don't see that final move. Like, once the king is on f1, how would you win it? Could you sack the rook? Take. Check. But no, they just go back up. No. I think this is still the move, though. Because the queen moving... if the rook's not involved, you definitely can't checkmate. So that's how I come to the conclusion of rook g5. And if that's right, I think that's right as well. Yeah, because again, the queen just can't slide in right now. So I think it is rook g2. I just don't... yeah, here's where I'm stuck. Where is it after? Because queen e2, qx e2, fx e2, king x g2. You can't promote because of the rook on a1. And then a sacrifice. It doesn't work for two reasons. I was saying it doesn't work just because of this. But they could also just take with the bishop. So then it's like, can you push? But then bishop takes. They don't have a check, though. That's the one thing. Oh, they don't have a check. So that actually does matter. They can't check me on this next turn. So what if you have one move to set up a good position? One move to set it up. So I'm looking at queen h4. Setting up a mate idea. But if you go here... if they go back... oh, wait, then... you know, that does work. Yeah, because here... that's crazy, the knight being there and not here, like, on a5. That makes the difference. Because you go queen h4 threatening checkmate here. They have to go back, right? So they can stop the mate on h1. So bishop retreats. But then you can take the knight check. And then over. Then you take that same bishop. Let's see if that's right. Yes. Well, it doesn't make you find it. But I think that is why it works. Yeah, it is. Because bishop g1, you then take the knight. And now this is a forced mate. Here you take the same rook e2, actually. I don't think I would have played that. What I played... okay, you're still winning if you do this. King d2. Yeah, this is how I would have done it. But apparently there's a forced mate if you go rook e2 first. And then king f1. And then discovered check. King e1. Queen e6. I just would not have done that. I would not have done that. But I would have won the game still. So this next one. We're sitting at 44 correct here. And the king is on f7. Alright, what can we do now? The rook sliding in to d7 I don't think would work. So, and then appreciate the follow there on TikTok. Almost at 500 likes as well. Thank you all for liking up the live. But we can go rook to d7, queen to e7, queen e1, and then Big Mike. Appreciate those likes. So the moves I'm considering: rook down. Really, that's all I'm considering right now, and I don't think that works. So I have to go back to the drawing board. Oh no, that does work. No, that works. Well, it works if they go king back here. Because if you were to go here and they go back, you'd go queen in, take here. This is unstoppable mate pattern. So it's probably that. It's after here where I don't know what to do. Maybe it's the same thing. Oh yeah, this does work. Yeah. And the king slides out the way. I still think you just go queen in. Because they just can't guard all of that, I don't think. Well. Okay. Oh, I'm worried. I'm like, what if you go here and they push? Could you just go there then? And if rook slides, you take, and then you would. I don't see. Well, you have to move the queen. I just don't see what to do after e5. Like, you go here, e5. Take over. Take. They could slide the queen. I think this is probably the move, and it might be easier to see once it happens. Okay. The rook slides over. I mean, queen f7 is a check. Rook here also. I think it's rook d6. But let's look at here. Here, up, check, down. Yeah, I just, even if you just check and they go straight here to h6, I don't see how you could mate them. Like, you could go back, then they go here. I think you need the rook. But the problem with moving the rook, though, is they could go rook c6. Oh, but then the queen could just take. Oh, yeah. No, it is queen f7. No way. How does that work? How is this checkmate? g4. Oh, I'm looking for an immediate mate. Dude, no way I didn't get that. That's sick, but we don't get that correct. The idea is that I was missing g4. I was like half right that there's not a mate immediately. But where I was wrong at is that you can't, it doesn't matter. Like, after you go here, they can't push because you can just go here. Yeah, I'm looking for an immediate checkmate, and I was wrong there. Now, the rook slides over. What do we have? This one, I think you just slide here. Yes, and you take this. Alright, we're at 45. That one was not even that diff. I can't believe I got that one wrong. But the knight is there on c6. What do we have after? The knight could take on c6 there. They could take back. But they have this queen h3 idea. I see this as a move option. And if the king goes for... Oh, yeah, this is it. I'm like, if the king goes for, you just take the queen. So now you have queen here. Or rook here. Perfect. Alright. We see that the rook slides over. There's some type of sacrifice here. Again? Bro. This is crazy. This is crazy. I got restricted again. Alright. Give me 1 sec. I have to appeal this. But they are going to reject it, I'm sure. So it doesn't even matter. Let's see. But the rook is here on f1. We can go rook or queen to h2. That could be the first move. Queen captures h2. If king takes... Oh, the rook can't even slide over, so that wouldn't work anyways. That would not work anyways. Rook can't capture on g2 either. That would not do... I wouldn't do anything at all. Because the king takes... There's no check you could give on this g file, right? What happened? Not on YouTube, on TikTok. YouTube, I've had, honestly, 0 issues with, so shout out YouTube. But yeah, TikTok, it It says my content is unoriginal, so it restricts it. Man, the rook is here on f1. Ignore. I don't know. I honestly, I've talked to them a few times, and they don't seem to care that much. But yeah, bishop. I guess you could go bishop e5. You're threatening mate. I guess I'm worried about. What if they go here? And then here. Here, up, back, down. Here, up, check. Over. Bishop e5 is an option. 6, 5. Okay, you're also saying bishop e5. I think I'm almost there as well. I think so. It's no problem, D square. Nothing I can do about it. I'm trying not to. It's frustrating because I don't know. Like, if they would tell me how to fix it, it'd be cool. Then I just fix it. But they won't tell me how to fix it. And that's the part. But it's like I can't do nothing about it. Just focus on what I can control. Or try to at least focus on what I can control. And just appeal it. Yeah, appeal not approved. It's not tournament day today. That was last stream, so it'll be in 2 streams for now. 2 streams from now, it'll be tournament day again. Yeah, the rook is there on f1. I think we could go bishop e. I think it is e5. I think so. And you just win the bishop. I think you threaten too many mates, right? So when you go here, if they push, I think this threatens mate in 1 twice, right? So they can't stop both of them. Like if they go here, this is mate. If they go over, this is mate. So this next one, sitting at 47, correct. All right, their knight's going to slide in. You see the knight is guarded by the bishop here. You could take this, honestly. Yeah, I think you can just take this. And they take this way. All right, I think okay. Usually I like doing these, but this one's not coming as easily, honestly. So right now we both have 3 minor pieces and a queen. If I take, and then take, and then take, we're at 2 apiece. So take, or you could just take this, take, and then take that way, and you're up, yeah. Then you are up a minor piece. All right, the queen's going to drop back. Yo, you could sack the queen. Take bishop, they take here, yeah. And then the same thing. Oh, wait, no. Is that? Oh, no. No, I moved too fast on that. That was definitely fightable. Poor time management. You could just go back here, check. Yes. And then they go back now. Okay. Well, we're sitting at 2 incorrect, unfortunately. We're at 48, though. Can we get to at least 50? Rook could slide over, check. Or rook can go down. No, you can't go rook down. Rook can slide to g3. If they slide their king over, you could go bishop in, back. Well, this has to be the first move, I would guess, because there's no other check you could play. And because of that same logic, I would assume this is the second move, as nothing else is forcing, and this is hanging right now. So you could give this check, but once they slide in the corner, I'm confused. How could you, like, set that up to work as a mate net? You could go knight h4, maybe. Bishop g1, king h1, knight h4. That doesn't feel like that's really right either. But it is a check, so let's play that. Now, how do we... Oh, you could go bishop here, and then rook here, and then win this on h5. Perfect. All right, their pawn pushes down. Opposite color bishops should be a draw, but apparently not in this game. Bishop takes, and then down. I see an easy way. Oh, that's almost mate too, isn't it? Yeah, that's threatening checkmate. So can you do it quicker? Can you go here? No. So take here. This is almost mate. So they have to push. And then, okay, this is definitely the first move though. No, it's not. No, is that not the first? Okay, we gotta see that one. Here. There first, and then you. Oh, now it's forced mate. Cause here, now this is mate. Ah, I saw the pattern. I did it in the wrong order. I just assumed you could win this, but I think I even said it myself. You can't win an opposite color endgame, even if you win that pawn there. And they're even. It's not. You're not even up. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense there. That was fun. That'll probably be the last survival one we do. We can do a couple shorter ones. Let's do maybe some puzzle battles online to end this off. See if we can get some wins. See if we get to 1,700. And if someone wants to play me in a puzzle battle, send a username so I can send you an invite after this one. Yeah, do a few more. They are, man. They are tricky. But yeah, we're waiting for a game. If someone wants to play singer user, I can send you an invitation to it if you'd be interested. Let's see. I'm not finding one online, sadly. No one is there. No one's ready. Alright, really? I can't get any. Okay, we're doing 3-minute survival then. See how far I get in that. No one is doing puzzle battle right now. Middle of the day. That seems so unlikely. Let's try and. Our top 3-minute score is 33. Alright, let's go try and break that. What's going on, Austin? How you doing, man? Today, I did not click, sadly. I was not even close. I got 50, I think maybe once or twice, and a couple high 40s, but I was not able to get to the 60 that I'm trying for to get again. But that one day I was on fire. I hope it was not. I guess I did it twice, so I hope it was not a 2-time fluke. We can go here. Check. I'm doing all right. I'm trying to. I gotta talk to TikTok. Because they are not showing love, but hopefully it will work this time. Because I keep getting restricted. I don't know how to fix it. Well, you can check here, bishop check, take here, check, queen down, checkmate, take here, checkmate. All right, next, what do we have? Rook can slide over here to f8, capture. This is a free rook. And then we can go rook down, probably. Threatening checkmate in 1. Perfect. All right, knight in for mate. We have the white pieces this time. Rook check. They move. And then up here, yeah. And then g4. What's going on, Austin? I see you're on double platform. Much appreciated, man. That is, I think, second Twitch message. I won't be able to watch the stream. Oh yeah, man, no worries. I stream almost every day, so we will definitely, if you're interested, we could definitely get in a game / puzzle battle. Like game, the viewer tournament and puzzle battle on these days for sure. Don't worry. I stream a good amount, so it's not the only chance. Bishop takes here, take there, checkmate. Alright, take here. We're at 19. Looks like we're not going to get my record this time. Take, back. Alright, at 21. Let's see how many we can get fast. Knight in. Take, queen, take. Alright, at 22. We're at 23 now. 24. Can we get to 25? Capture. Well, that one was not that difficult. Here. You can even get the queen there. It doesn't actually matter. Here, you get the fork and then checkmate. Alright, at 27, we have the black pieces. Oh, no. What do we do? Oh, here, then here. And then we got 28. Okay. I can try, I think, 2 more times to see if we can get. I think we can get 33. I think that could be, I don't want to say easy, but I feel like I was only 5 away that time. I feel like that was my best run ever. So I think that's definitely doable. Let's just go down, down. down. All right, we're at 4 and 10 seconds. 5 and 15. I think that's a good start. We got to get the easy ones really fast in order to break the record, or break my personal record, not the record. Capturing here doesn't work. Queen in would work. Take rook, take queen. That's perfect. Rook slides over. We're at 12, at 13. I'm gonna sack there. You can just push up. Yeah, you have this diagonal control. You're gonna win that piece. All right, we have the white pieces. Checkmate. Checkmate. We're at 17. I feel like this is quite doable. And then over, take, and you're going to be able to win that one. Queen down, we're at 19, 20, 21. All right, next, you can take, and now you take the queen there at the end. We're at 22. The pawn's going to leap forward. The knight can rotate, capture, and you take this knight here at the end. All right, we need... we can sack the knight and then bring this rook down. All right, at 24. The pawn's going to push forward. Oh, no, that's not it. See, this is where it gets trickier. All right, rook slides over, check. Rook down, check. And now you take this rook for free. And king slides forward. We're at 25. Okay. I need to somehow attack the queen. I'm not seeing how to do that, though, really. How would you attack the queen? No, two wrong. Oh, uh-oh. Looks like we will not get the record this time. Yeah, I'm not seeing this one either. And with low time, yeah, 3 straight. All right, I'll play again immediately. 3, 2, 1. This will probably be the last run I do. Check. Oh, we're in check. This is a free queen. Can we get to that 33? Now that I'm doing this more, I'm kind of impressed that I got to 33. This is kind of difficult, given that, you know, they still get more difficult as you go, except you just have less time. All right, that's mate. Again, we have to get the easier ones instantly. See all these mate in ones we're getting, our mate in twos, mate in ones. Here. Rook down, check. Knight in. That feels kind of weak, but I think that's it. So knight slides in. Knight takes, and then you take the rook because the knight's guarding that still. Now you have the bishop activating on that diagonal. You can take the rook, overloading a piece, take the knight. That's like the exact puzzle you would think of when overloading a piece. Or the exact type of puzzle. Not the exact same setup. But their bishop's here. Where can we go? Bishop down. Take. Check. Not quite mate yet, but you do get that check. And you're going to be up in that game. Double. Oh, not even double check. Just checkmate. It's not a double check quite. Check, and then knight slides in. Perfect. You don't see the timer? You don't? Oh, I guess. Huh. It's probably a little blocked. I think it's showing. It's probably not easy to see, though. Like, if you squint, you might be able to see it. Because I have it. I cropped it not with this in mind. But it should be there somewhere. If you can see the check marks at all, the timer's there. It's probably just in a bad spot. Sorry about that. But the king is here. Bishop, check. And then rook slides here, checkmate. Here, queen down, mate here. We have a minute left, though, to keep you updated. That's checkmate. Here, and then mate here on a8. Rook captures, knight in. We're at 25. No. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Take that. Take that. Take the knight. We're at 26 now with 36 seconds left. Alright, rook cap. Oh, no. Yeah, it is not looking good. Bishop here, that's 27. Alright, rook to h8. We're at 28. Night going here, and then here, because you can take the rook at the end. But we got to 29. No, not quite there. You got to 29 there. I think we will go next stream, next puzzle stream. I think I can break that. I'll spend some time on that as well as the survival. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. A shorter stream today. Tomorrow, I don't know, but either tomorrow or the stream after, it'll be back to the normal times and setup. So I guess 3 hours not that short. But thank you all for tuning in. If you want to support me, I'm PJ's Chess on Instagram, on YouTube, and on TikTok, and I'm PJ's Chess 993 on Twitch. Follow on Twitch, you get some free emotes you can use in any Twitch streamers chat. And then YouTube, I have some fun videos, educational, and then some like showing some educational, some fun, and some showing my tournament progress. So make sure to check those out. Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. For those watching on TikTok, I'll catch you all later. Thank you guys for all the support. And then those watching on, yo, a new member, D Squared. Appreciate the support, man. Much appreciated. But yeah, I'll catch you guys tomorrow, I think. And you got some new emotes there, D Squared. Let me know what you think of that. And because of you, I can add another one too. I'll add it right after stream. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch you all. Yes, sir. Those are the emotes. And it's going to be one more too. I'll make sure I get that added in. But I'll catch you all next stream. I'm excited. I'm excited for the rated play tomorrow or next stream. But yeah, catch you all later.